Uh, I believe we're live. Yes, we are. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new live stream. We are officially live on this beautiful June 10th, 2023. What is up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a phenomenal day, night, wherever you are in the world. I certainly am having a great day myself. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to do a live reaction to the Trump speech in North Carolina. We're probably gonna also tune into the DeSantis rally that's in Oklahoma today. Yeah, it's in Tulsa today. Because Trump's speech I don't think starts for probably another 20 minutes. Because this is Trump we're talking about. So yeah, when he says freaking 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, it usually means a half an hour late. So we already got a super chat. That political guy for 10. Opinion on Tulsi Gabbard. Would she make a good defense secretary? You know, I don't know how much of Tulsi Gabbard's, change the past 3 years is real or not, but she's always been good on foreign policy, and I could see somebody like Tulsi being the defense secretary. Like, not VP. I think that's a bit overrated, but yeah, so Sim stay mad. But yeah, so DeSantis is gonna speak soon in Tulsa. Um, yeah, of course. Hold on, I forgot the ticker. Oh no. Well, yeah, we gotta get the cringe counter up. Gotta get that sucker up already. I know it's Trump, but yeah, we still gotta have it. We always have to have it to pretend to be fair. There we go. Of course, everybody, if you have any super chats or questions, make sure to send them. That's the best way to get your questions answered. But of course, if you got questions, I'll answer it. I'm not one of those people that, oh, you must do this, or this to get your questions answered. If you have questions, I'll answer it. Does Sim stay mad? Trump Gabbard flip Hawaii? No, but I think Trump's gonna do better in Hawaii. Either way. Let's see. Thoughts on Tillis getting screwed? What happened to Tom Tillis? What did he do this time? Wow. North Carolina GOP censor him. Nice. Think you rap your Doomer predictions What? Think you rap your Doomer election predictions pissed me off enough to start making my own videos. I'm not, dooming. I'm just being like, right now we don't got enough information to go off of, so. But yeah, I'm glad they're starting making videos. The only way to make U.S. a conservative country is, infiltrating the Democratic Party. Hopefully somebody like RFK, does that. But, yeah. Like usual, I probably won't be able to show the live footage because can't have nice things. At all. So, yay. Primary Tillis with Big Dan in 2026. I think Tillis is going to retire. I don't see him running again. He's pissed off a lot of people. Freaking scam artist. Let's see. None of your business for 2 weeks. I saw your face reveal vid. How tall are you? I'm 6 foot. 6 foot. Let's see. If the election was held today, do you think Trump would win? To be determined. To be determined. As someone from North Carolina, I hate Tillis so much. Yeah, I can't imagine dealing with Tillis. I really cannot imagine dealing with them. Yeah, that would suck. Absolutely awful. The Doomers are cringe because it'll be very close. And I think it's gonna be close either way. I just being very safe about it. Very safe, because I do not want to get sued. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Rip my Twitter account. Oh, you got banned? Oof. That sucks. Any thoughts on the chat in the Northeast being closer than expected? Yeah, I saw that. I saw I think it's Axios or Politico. They had an article where it's like Democrats are starting to get a bit worried in like New York. Who are the main rhino Republicans in your opinion who must be endgamed? Let's see here. Nancy Mace, Becky Edwards from Utah. She's gonna win the primary probably, which sucks. She's worse than McMuffin. That's how bad she was. Thoughts of Rich McCormick? Pretty good. Pretty good. An author of a certain book. Yeah, I saw that. I can't say that on stream because we're still on YouTube. It's better than it was, but yeah. I don't want to get like demonetized for mentioning his name. I really don't want to get sued. Is the Oklahoma governor any good? He's the only noteworthy endorsement DeSantis has. Yes, that's okay. He's an okay governor. Notify YouTube when you post on Rumble. I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit because I'm a bit intrigued. Because apparently Rumble's gonna like actually fix their monetization stuff. Which if they do, you're probably gonna see more content of mine on Rumble. Because okay. Look at it like this. Right now, there's really no incentive to post, like... I post a couple videos on there, but it's, like, no real incentive to, like, post daily exclusive stuff on Rumble. But if they start, like, making it where, you know, it's worth it, yeah. It just makes sense. If it makes sense to do it, I want to post on Rumble. I may post stuff on there, too, but... We just gotta see what Musk does with the ad stuff. Is it possible that there simply aren't enough good candidates in the Republican Party? It seems like a large portion of Republicans are still weak-willed or not aware of the war of the Democrats. Yeah, kind of. I mean, we have a decent bench in some states, but I understand what you're saying. I 100% understand. Okay, DeSantis is on. DeSantis is up. Okay, let's bring this up. Alright, we got DeSantis up. Hold on. Let me bring up the audio. Let me fix this.
Head on, and
there
that's what
we
we did. So we said, okay, we'll do it. So I got my guys together. I said, listen, no bureaucracy, no red tape, and no excuses. I want these bridges built, and I do not want it to take 6 months. And so the first bridge we took under our purview, Pine Island, didn't take 6 months. We rebuilt it in 3 days. And the next bridge took us 2 weeks after that to do the Sanibel Causeway, which it had 3 different breaks in it. And first of all, I actually have told Joe Biden, I'll take my Florida builders who did those bridges, and I'll send them to the southern border to build the border wall. We can get that done. Let's do it. But what it shows you is just, there's always excuses about why you can't do something. A leader finds a way, the way you can do it, and that's what we did with that. And we've been really successful on economic policy. Obviously, we're strong, growth, tax relief in Florida. Now, we don't have an income tax, which I highly recommend all states mimic us on that.
Yeah, we're not going to add to the cringe
but what we did do for tax relief, among other things, we now eliminated sales tax on all baby items. So
that's based
in the state of Florida now.
Okay, I got a super chat. None of your business for 5-star states trends video. We need California to trend blue. We ain't winning anyways. Better for Republicans to move to red or purple states. No, not necessarily. Like, there are a lot of congressional districts in California that we could win. And we shouldn't just abandon it. Start using the cringe counter. I guess.
School choice. Parents can decide the best school to send their kid, and that is now a reality in our state.
Yeah, look at the, DeSantis.
We've enacted the heartbeat bill, the strongest pro-life bill in modern Florida history.
Not bad.
We've expanded Second Amendment rights
by
enacting constitutional carry legislation. We're going to make sure we protect those.
Yeah, hold up. I got to bring this up.
When I became governor, Florida had arguably the most liberal state Supreme Court in America. We've now been able to appoint 7 conservative justices, and we now have the most conservative state Supreme Court in America.
Like, look at this fit here. Look at this.
We are a law and order state, and we have enacted policies to crack down even further on crime. Our crime rate's at a 50-year low in Florida. You can't say that about San Francisco and L.A. and all these other places.
No, this is DeSantis.
So we're proud of that, but we want to do more. So we have enacted legislation to hold fentanyl dealers accountable and to treat them like the murderers that they are. We have refused to allow criminals to be released without cash bail like they do in New York and some of these other places.
DeSantis is in Oklahoma.
And we've even authorized the death penalty for pedophiles in the state of Florida. And we're not defunding the police in Florida. We're going to do like they do. We do like in Oklahoma. We support the people that wear the uniform. We support our police officers.
I got to bring that up. Hold on. Mitt Romney.
We've also fought back against the menace posed by radical left-wing prosecutors who get elected usually with big campaign contributions from people like George Soros, and they get into office and they decide to let the criminals get away with committing crimes. They don't enforce laws they don't like. And this community suffers as a result. When we had in Florida, one of those prosecutors who said he was not going to enforce laws he didn't like,
that's why
I removed him from his post.
Hold on, I got the image here. You cannot tell me that's not what he's wearing.
We've been strong against illegal immigration. We've banned sanctuary cities in the state of Florida. We've increased penalties for human smuggling and illegal alien trafficking.
Let me mute this for a second, DeSantis. You suck at speaking. Look at this. You cannot tell me that's not the exact same. Look at this. Hold on. Let me just fix it. Add a COVID counter. Look at that. It's the exact shirt. This is the Mormon look. Doesn't that look like it? I don't know if that's me or not, but man, that's the exact one. Yeah, we gotta add some stuff to the cringe counter. Jesus. Okay, I'm turning this off. I don't want to get sued, but my goodness. Why would you? It didn't work in 2012. Why would you wear it now?
DEI is its actually practice. It's better characterized as discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination, and that has no place in our public university system. And in Florida, it's gone.
I cannot
believe his integrity measures like banning ballot harvesting.
Okay. I gotta mute that part. I know YouTube claims that they changed the policy, but we're just being safe about it. And almost the same haircut on top of that. But guys, don't you remember how eluctable President Romney was? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Meatball Romney. Why does he keep talking about DI when he supported in 2020? I don't think he ever supported it. I don't believe he did. I could be wrong, but yeah. So we're just waiting for Trump to show up. This is his usual forte. Takes forever to show up. God knows what he's doing. Romney won the moderates. Yeah, did he get like 55% of moderates? Or, no, not 55. He won independents, I know. But it just seems like a scam. I don't know. It just, whatever. Prince is writer for 5. The problem for DeSantis is the young and minority vote doesn't care about any of this. Yeah, exactly. Like, of course, a lot of them, they don't want to be taught that, they're seen as like second class because, they're because of racism and all that stuff. But it's like a lot of these voters, they don't care. I'm sorry, but they do not care when they are at risk of losing their jobs next week. Like, do people not understand? If the economy was good, that's when cultural stuff and stuff like healthcare matters. But when the economy is on the edge. People are not worried about DEI or critical race theory as much as, say, 2021 or early 2022. DeSantis only talks about woke. That's an understatement. Romney won 47% of moderates. 47% reference. He won 47% of moderates and he still lost? Wow. Instead of, moderates, you should win the rules 90-10. Yeah, of course, there's some people that claim they're moderate, but that doesn't mean they're, left-leaning on every issue. But DeSantis is the mid-cultural warrior at this point. His policies basically stop the woke, radical, socialist, leftist. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. If DeSantis hammered the economy, like, we're going to bring back jobs, we're going to revitalize the manufacturing base, and talk about the cultural stuff on the side, that would be a serious threat to Trump. But just talking about it 24/7 and saying, we're going to fight the radical left. But it just doesn't work, especially when most people care about the economy and immigration. Godsmack AR 69, nice, for 5. Thanks again for suffering through the Chris Krispy Kreme announcement for us. Worst political speech of all time. We appreciate your sacrifice. Also, big shout out to everybody that suffered with me. That was the worst announcement I've ever seen. But, yeah. DeSantis has the same advisors as Romney, so the clothing fits. But it's just like, it didn't work. Just dress how you usually do. Why do you think Trump? He dresses like, a financial advisor from New York, yet he appeals more to working class voters than DeSantis. It's like, why do you think that is? Because maybe he talks to them and what they care about. Did you hear that there's supposed to be another candidate announcing soon? I think it's either Greg Abbott or... yeah, it's going to probably be Abbott or Cheney. That's my guess. But it could be... Knowing our luck, it's going to be like frickin'... who's a retread? Who ran like 5 times and lost? Ron Paul, no. Did you see how Chrissy said there's no such thing as a Trump voter? I witnessed that speech live. That was horrible. Absolutely awful. Greg Abbott running? That's a rumor. There is a rumor that Abbott's potentially going to get in. We just got to see, though. Rick Perry. Oh, I forgot about Perry. Rick Perry is that's probably more realistic. I did hear Abbott was actually considering it. The former senator from Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum? No. I doubt Abbott runs. The primary is too crowded for him. We just gotta see. Scott Walker 2? No. Scott Walker's not gonna run again. At least for, like, this decade. Greg Abbott rolling. Will Hurd gonna run? Oh gosh, I forgot about him. And Mike Rogers. Why? Why do these people think they can, like, take on Trump single-handedly? Like, bro, what are you doing? Riley the Mini Dunstan for 2. Cheney running third party would help Trump, in my honest opinion. I think it would, too. Because Cheney would appeal to, like, the resist liberal type. And, like, the Republican that voted for Bush in 2004, but that's the only time they ever voted Republican. That's the type of Republican she wins. It's like Colin Powell. Yes, I'm a lifelong Republican, but I've never voted Republican in my life. I thought the Ford Party, no labels, will both have a candidate. They will. It sounds like they're going to go with Cornel West. That's going to be the no label, or no, the People's Party, or whatever it's called. Yeah, the Ford Party, whatever it's called. It's going to be probably Cornel West, then no labels, it's probably like Manchin, or something crazy like that. The ghost of John McCain. Bolton announcement incoming. No. That or Cheney would be the only announcement that would be worse than Chris Christie. So they're going to probably both announce at the same time. And I have to react back to back. How can you be a lifelong Republican if you never vote? Explain that to some Arizona Republicans. Ask them that. Yes, I'm a lifelong Republican, but I have never voted Republican except for McCain. Would Manchin running third party benefit Trump? That one's a tough one because he pisses off a lot of progressives. And there are a lot of Republicans that chill for him, but Kinzinger, no. Kissing ass is staying in retirement. Can Trump still campaign for this indictment? I mean, he's theoretically campaigning right now. He's going to do an event in North Carolina. Princess Writer for 5. I have to correct your tweet rap. The Republicans cheering for Trump's indictment are not actually Republicans. I know, but there are certain people on Team DeSantis. They're rooting for this indictment. Which, by the way, I actually read it. Yes, the stuff with the nuclear stuff, if that is proven true, again, it's innocent before guilty, proven guilty. If that's true, that's serious. But somebody brought up a valid point. First of all, do they got proof this document even existed? Do they? Because so far I haven't seen that. Secondly, he said a document. We don't know if he was actually referring to an actual a certain secret document. When you read the transcript, makes you wonder, was he really talking about a specific document? We just gotta see, but when you start reading into it, there are some cracks, and who knows? Trump brought more people to the dead Republican Party than anyone else ever. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought that Republicans have a good chance of flipping Southern Texas, Miami-Dade, inner cities of like Chicago and New York, but lose like the white suburban vote? That's what's happening right now. If the trends continue, which they're fluid, they could change next week. I mean, it's possible. Let's see. Imagine if Larry Hogan comes back and announces he's running for president alongside Chris Christie. They'll make America big again. I still kind of fine with Larry Hogan. He represented his state well. He did. And he did stay with redistricting. Because, boy, I mean, the fact that a safe blue Republican governor was able to get that map through, when frickin' Chris Sununu couldn't get shit through, or Republicans in Missouri. I mean, it's like, bruh. Phil Scott will make Vermont red again? No. Question. What if there is a three-way race to president? If no one gets 270, what happens then? Then it goes to the House, right? I believe if no faithless electors, if nobody reaches 270, it just gets kicked to the House. And I believe it's by state delegation. So that would probably benefit Trump. Larry Hogan could have fixed Baltimore. It's still a shithole. Well, I mean, you know, he did the best he could with a Democrat legislator. It won't be Cheney or Bolton. They're announced together. No, I don't want that. If it's Cheney and Bolton on the ticket, yeah. No, each state gets one vote. That's what I thought. It goes by state delegation. Let's see. PK for 2. Andy Harris would have lost in the first map. You know, people say he vastly underperformed and stuff, which I think he still would have won, but it would have been a lot closer, which 2022 made no sense that Andy Harris of all people underperformed. But, yeah. Let's see. Bill Weld will flip Massachusetts red. So true. So true. Phil Scott, Chris Sununu, Charlie Baker should have ran for Senate. I mean, Chris Sununu had no reason not to. Phil Scott, I can care less. He's a Democrat from 2 years ago. Charlie Baker, I mean, he doesn't care anymore. He's focused on NCAA. Sununu had no reason. And if he retires, after saying, oh no, I gotta serve New Hampshire, there will be many rants. John Bolton will bring world peace by nuking every country. Yeah, that's Bolton in a nutshell. Liz Cheney versus RFK. I would vote for RFK. An entire non-majority House picks president. Yeah, I know that. Senate picks vice president, but for the House, one state gets one vote. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I swear, if we get to that situation, and it comes down to freaking... It's going to come down to, like, Mike Gallagher, isn't it? Or not a good example. Like, Nancy Mace, isn't it? Or some anti-Trump Republican. I swear, if it comes down to that. Like, Becky Edwards, that's a better example. I'm gonna be pissed. What is Trump's speech? We're talking about Trump here. It was supposed to start at 3, and it's gonna be probably 6:30, or I should say 6. It's probably gonna start at 6:30. Winning the governorship in a blue state doesn't translate well in a Senate election. It does. It depends on the circumstance. Like Baker, he would have won, or I should say, Phil Scott. PK for 2. Would you vote for Manchin or Murkowski? Like in election, if it was Manchin versus Murkowski, I would vote Manchin. Because Manchin's a fake, like, sometimes he's a moderate, but at least he reads the bills. So, Lamau, damn, 3.5 hours late. This is Trump we're talking about. I mean, remember what happened on January 6th? I mean, the stream is gone now, which is sad, but he was like an hour and a half late. I swear, I want to know what happens when Trump is like an hour late to these things. But yeah, if it's Manchin versus Murkowski, I'll go with Manchin, because at least he like goes to the bills and stuff. Murkowski's a fake. Just go away. But if it was like if they were third party, no, I would just vote Trump. I'd just vote Trump. Manchin's a cold Democrat. True. That is a very true point. Okay, Trump, why you late? Why are you doing this? Oh gosh, the DeSantis rally is still going? I want to bring this up again. Why not?
Passed along in the bloodstream. I used to think that was an exaggeration because I said, hey, we're Americans. Isn't just this in our DNA? But in the reality is, everyone who's lived through the last 4 or 5 years would acknowledge freedom is fragile. We've seen freedom under attack in this country with COVID lockdowns and mandates and a whole host of other things.
YouTube, I gotta mute this part. He's talking about nothing but COVID. Why? It clearly didn't, like, yes, 2022 at work, but it's like, dude, really? RRR 330 for 2. What if Eric Adams tries to primary Kathy Hochul? Ooh. I think that in that scenario, if Zeldin runs, he would probably win. Freedom. It's just cringe. I can care less. It happened 4 years ago? It's a travesty, let's be real. But it's like, it's not the most important issue. Now, certain parts of it are, but yeah.
Various forms of despotism, and they believed that this society, this country would decide that question. They understood that this wasn't something that just happened. When Benjamin Franklin walked out of the convention, he was asked, did you give us a republic or a monarchy? He said, a republic if you can keep it. You can have the best Declaration of Independence
I swear, if he goes on a Chris Christie rant again, no.
These things don't
not start a history lesson again.
They require us in each generation to take and preserve what George Washington called the sacred fire of liberty.
Okay, this is cringe. This is awful. Real American, bank the vote or early vote action, both. Because bank the vote, at least it's the RNC's effort. The GOP is finally getting off their ass. And I'll give it to them. When it came to the poll watching stuff, they did great in 2022. Arizona. But outside of that, they did only in a year? With the voter integrity stuff, they did a damn good job. They did a really good job when it came to getting poll watchers and stuff. So if the RNC, in a year and a half, they can get some early vote stuff in, I'll take it. Early Vote Action, that's a private organization, that's Scott Presser's. They're focusing on Arizona, Wisconsin, and Georgia. So, yeah.
But if we do that, we have it within our power to reverse the decline of this country. We can get it right. And not only will we be doing justice to ourselves, our generation, our kids and grandkids, we'll be doing justice to those who've sacrificed on behalf of this country over many, many generations. And so my pledge to you is this.
Some of this isn't
if you
bad,
work to help me earn the Republican nomination
really the
for
most
president, then you can set your clock to January 20th, 2025 at high noon. Because on the west side of the Capitol, I'll have this left hand on the Bible, and I will have this right hand in the air, taking the oath to be the 47th president of these United States. No excuses. We'll get it done. Thank you, Oklahoma. God bless you all.
Bruh. That was it? He was there for like 5 minutes. That was awful. That rally was terrible, like DeSantis. We listened to 5 minutes of it, and it really wasn't good. Princess Writer for 5. I know not everyone likes Rich Bears after 2022, which I think he's an which I think is an overreaction, but I digress. I actually agree with that. I have my problems, which I'll talk about after, but he said he's heard that Trump is considering Zeldin. What? Hold on. Did I read that right? He said he's heard that Trump is considering Zeldin. Trump, please. Pick my man Zeldin. Please. He's the only reason we got the House. So, yeah, Barris, I have some problems with some of his polls, but he's still one of the better pollsters. I have some problems with some of his takes here and there, but outside of that, he's actually one of the most transparent pollsters, but that Zeldin part, we need some miracles for that to happen. We need Trump to pick Zeldin. Let Trump cook. Yeah, that would actually be a smart idea. Because, first of all, Zeldin, he's loved by everybody. He's loved by freaking... Nobody in the GOP doesn't like Zeldin, except some of the DeSantis people. But he's loved by a lot of independents also. He has a very unique appeal to educated parents, or college-educated parents, or suburbanites. And I think it translates well. Because he knows what he's freaking doing when he campaigns. So, we need... I don't care what it takes. Get Zeldin on the ticket. Hashtag Zeldin for VP. We need Zeldin. Emperor Zeldin, please. I'm telling you, that would be a big, big, big victory by Trump if he did that. Opinions and rumors about Alex Brusewitz for Congress, Wisconsin. He ain't running. Especially after Gallagher is a coward. And he's not running for the Senate seat. Rich's very accurate polling in 2022 Pennsylvania was his only real bad miss, but in the absence of polling, I think he underestimates establishmentarians and overestimates outsiders. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, again, his polling compared to others is still not, he had one bad cycle. He was very good in 2020, very good in 2021, just had a bad 2022. So, but yeah. And he had a good, he released a poll where you could see who answered the poll. So it's not him faking numbers like certain people claim he was. So, if Trump picks Zeldin, New York would be much closer, yeah. But please, I don't care how many millions must be sacrificed. I'm joking, but please, Trump, pick Zeldin. He would single-handedly help you win the election. Nate Silver moment. I remember that from the Virginia stuff. And they pushed back the Trump thing to 7. Oh, another half an hour, everybody. Woo! They pushed it back to another half an hour. Trump, why do you do this? Yes, we're going to do our event at 6 p.m. Proceed to show up at 7. I love Trump for this, but it's like, Why? Nate Silver. Abolish the Constitution, declare Lee the Emperor? No. Make Mark Robinson the Emperor. Trump. Freaking Trump. After Trump, we need the George Santos monarchy. But I have to work at 7. Cringe. I know. Trump. What are you doing? This is why I should never trust a time when Trump says it. If he says 6, might as well wait an hour later. Okay. Emperor Mark Robinson, yeah. That'd be based. We need Mark Robinson for Emperor. Or Supreme Leader. And, yeah, Zeldin as Vice Supreme Leader. That'd be, like, the perfect combo. But sadly, it may never happen. May never happen. Has it started yet? No. It's got pushed back another half an hour. I swear he does this to troll. Huckel versus Santos. Who would you got your money on? Huckel. Hochul, whatever. Santos ain't winning anything statewide. Would Owens make a good VP? No. Is Robinson done if you lose the Stein? If you lose the Stein, yeah, it's over. Robinson could primary Tillis. That is true, but hopefully Trump or Mark Robinson wins, because we need Emperor Mark Robinson, North Carolina. We need it. I need it in my veins. If Daniel Cameron wins against Beshear in 2023, would he be considered a good candidate for president? Nah. It's Kentucky. It's a little bit different. So, yeah. I don't think so. Just because you win Kentucky just because you beat Beshear doesn't mean you're automatically a great candidate. He's a strong candidate, don't get me wrong, but it's like, to be determined. He pushed it back to watch a DeSantis speech so he knows how to attack it. Damn it, Trump. I should have known this. Oh my. Again, he always does this an hour late. 2 hours. Frickin', I swear there was one time where it was 4. He doesn't care. Ramaswamy is definitely my second choice if Trump goes to jail. What about you? Ramaswamy, I don't trust right now. He's been very suspicious right now. He's been suspicious lately. So, Saul Goodman for Attorney General. I agree. We need Saul Goodman, one of the most respectable minds in law. Let's see. Beshear is done. I wouldn't say that. Will not say that one bit. Let's see. The last good president from Kentucky was Abraham Lincoln, and he moved to Illinois. Yeah. That is true, but Vivek is, well, no, he's had a weird history. And then you got on top of some of his comments he made. It's like, bruh. Rampton / Clark for Wisconsin. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. We're jumping off ship if that happens. That'll be a disaster. Goose Freeman for Secretary of State. Oh. Another stand-up citizen. You know, we need the Joker as, like, president. What would happen if Heath Ledger's Joker, like, became president somehow? I don't think that would end well. No one is doing. I'm just saying he can win. Yeah, nobody's doing. We're just being, right now it's early. We gotta be realistic because we had a disastrous 2022. Just gotta be careful. Just don't say anything stupid. That's kind of the thing right now. Could Kemp beat Ossoff in 2026? Yeah, he could. He's gonna run. Kemp will run. If you believe, let's see. Would Hawley be a good VP? Yeah, but it would be a waste. It would be a complete waste to have him as VP. He'd be better as a presidential ticket. How would you feel about Trump family members running for other offices? There's like 2. Maybe like Laura Trump in North Carolina. That's about like the only one that I could see realistically happening and wouldn't just be like cringe. Rap, eventually we'll have a YouTuber become president. It would probably be Mr. Beast, and we would live in hell for 4 years. Oh God, can you imagine Mr. Beast as president? No. No. Mr. Beast, he's not like, a couple of years ago he was a pretty good YouTuber, but recently it's kind of over the top. It's gotten kind of cringe, and then you have the freaking, what's the guy's name? Like, Chris, or whatever his name is. It's like, this isn't good anymore. Who watches this? And it just like, he's kind of ruined some parts of YouTube. It just seems like, everybody's trying to be Mr. Beast too. Except like, on the corners of the internet, you got like me. I'm the only one that is so far, and don't quote me, I'm like the only one that hasn't done these stupid, you stand in a square for 5 minutes, you win $1 million. I have not done that yet. So, hopefully I never do. If I do that, we've reached rock bottom. Did you hear about Laura Loomer hinting at how she'd be eligible to run for... Oh, hell no. Hell no. No. Leafy for president. Isn't he back on... He's on Rumble now, right? But, just... If I ever turn the Mr. Beast where it's like... I freaking have $1 million. I wouldn't be spending on nonsensical challenges. I just wouldn't. It's like once in a while, fine, but... Mr. Beast versus PewDiePie. Yeah, I would vote for PewDiePie in that case. Because... Well, he's in Japan now, right? So... And plus, he was born in Sweden. So that's like... double oof. Let's see. He'll probably run as an independent, take the young vote, and give us a free win. No, he would run as a Democrat. Like, apparently he's a registered Republican, but he's no Republican. Always critical for president. I don't think he just doesn't give a shit. He just doesn't give a shit, so I don't think he would ever run for anything. Loomer's nuts, yeah. Doug Mastriano for press secretary. No. Like, Mastriano, I still like him. I think that, he should run for a House seat in the future, but... And he is being a team player right now. But, no, he shouldn't run for, he should not be the press secretary. At all. We need John Tron for president. Well, if he only uploads, what? Once a year? So... Hey, what's so oof about Sweden? Nothing. He was born in Sweden, so he can't run. Trump gave free waffles to people in Columbus, Georgia. Really? Really? I did not know that. Loomer for press. Oh, that's even worse. No. Absolutely not. That's like, we are at the bottom of the barrel. We've gone underneath the barrel at that point if we had Laura Loomer as the press secretary. Vince McMahon for press secretary. That would be entertaining. They have him as press secretary. That would. Mr. Beast versus Mr. Beat. I wouldn't vote. Who do you recommend to watch for Canadian politics? I really don't know any Canadian, conservatives. Do they exist? Hello? Anybody out there? Any Canadian conservatives? I'm talking about, real conservatives. Can't think of any. Boris Johnson will come back soon after Sunak gets cooked. Well, Labor's still falling in the polls, and I swear, if Labor blows it and conservatives retain a majority... Exactly. JonTron hardly uploads so put that in the government and you got a government that does anything. Yeah, I mean, JonTron would just, like, do nothing. Like, I don't know what, it takes, like, fucking a year for one of his videos to get done, but they're so good. Canadian conservatives. Yeah, Canada's screwed. They have no hope. I mean, now it's like the LGBT thing. It's like, now there's 50 numbers before the L. It's like, what? Boring Johnson for Florida Senate? No. As someone who grew up in Japan and moved to the USA 10 years ago, it's weird how YouTubers always moved to Japan. Yeah, I always noticed that. It seemed like a bunch just moved to, like, Japan. Or, like, South Korea. I thought that was always me, but... Alex Jones for press secretary. Have a Joe Rogan podcast with Alex Jones for 5 hours. That's the press secretary. Oh, that's still the greatest podcast I ever saw. It was 5 hours long. That was perfect. Kanye West, no. But yeah, Alex Jones for press secretary. I mean, the 5-hour podcast with Joe Rogan is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing. Japan's a dying country. Well, yeah. They're trying to increase the birth rates. Not working so far. Hey, Rap, are you able to do any analysis on the Virginia State Senate and House races and any high-profile situations? I gotta look into it more. But we're starting to come up to it, so I gotta talk about it a bit more. Japan can keep existing as a free state of... What? Singapore is based... Yeah. And remember, according to Twitter, people on Twitter said, this is socialism with Singapore. It's like, no. It's called cultural identity. Stand in a circle for 5 hours and become the Republican nominee. Alex Jones be the best press secretary. Pair him up with Joe Rogan. Pair him up and just go 5 hours every single day. I mean, I saw this comment before, but it's like when aliens take DMT, they see Alex Jones. I love that meme so much because it's probably true, if we're being honest here. Hungary increased birth rates? Yeah, they did. You need to give tax breaks and stuff so you get birth rates up. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, obviously. I'm the one pushing for it, but... So the Republican Party still has ways to go. I don't know. Should Zeller run for his old seat? No. He's gonna do some statewide stuff and probably federal. Seth MacFarlane for president? No. Absolutely not. That'll be like worst case scenario. Moss Channel Oz. Some of you guys, I swear the Oz memes were good, but now they're like lame. I'm sorry, Chad, but they were. They were good for a little bit, but now they just kind of lame. Oz for New Jersey Governor 2025. No, we're going with Citarelli. Jack Citarelli, he got shafted. If the GOP gave him a dime, he probably would have won. So yeah, we're waiting for Trump to show up. Apparently it's in 12 minutes. Knowing Trump, it's delays by another hour. And I swear if it is, it won't end too well. Citarelli win New Jersey governor in 2025. Murphy's no longer an incumbent. Yeah, he could absolutely win. I mean, he came very close to it, but... Norm Macdonald would have been a great press secretary. Oh, yeah, he would have, but let's be real. Alex Jones. That's 10 out of 10. Complete chaos. I'm depressed over Oz, so I use the memes to cope. Yeah, it's just depressing that what happened to Oz. I still feel bad for him. He got put in a bad situation. It doesn't help that MAGA types in New Jersey were telling people not to vote for Citarelli because he was a moderate. That was like 2 people. If Dem's going to trifecta in 2024, what's the strategy going forward? Leave. Retreat to, like, Florida. That's, like, the only hope at that point. Retreat to Florida and Texas. Get out of every blue state. It's over. Just wrap it up. It's over. The establishment screwed Oz by screwing over Mastriano. I agree. I 100% agree. Santos for president. Is he eligible? I thought his parents were not citizens. Is that true, though? I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that this is Santos we're talking about. Did you hear Trump's speech? I heard it wasn't the best. I did not like it. Wasn't the biggest fan.
Rick.
Well, really wasn't the biggest fan of the speech. Germany will eventually have to make a coalition with AfD. They keep going up. Yeah, and people on Twitter, they're calling them the second rise in Nazism. It's like, bro, what? So yeah, hopefully Trump gets his freaking ass on the stage. Come on, we want to hear this. His name might not have been George. Yeah, probably isn't. I mean, did he have like 50 LLCs with like different names or something crazy like that? But yeah, I'm hoping that Trump gets up here quickly because we've been here for an hour and he still hasn't showed up. I don't get why he does that. I understand it's for the memes, but it's like, bro. Yeah, supposedly Trump's going to show up any minute now. Again, that's supposedly. The AfD shit reminds me of how Nana, let's see here. Santos, Republican majority leader. I mean, he would be the chaos candidate. He would be. But yeah, if they push it back one more time, we may have to end the stream, everybody. Because I am not going to stay here for 3 hours waiting for him to get on stage. Sunil won't run for re-election. Yeah, there's a good possibility. Santos is the type to get elected president, then an hour before he gets sworn in, it comes out he's El Chapo. Oh my gosh. I mean, well, hold on. Yeah, that is true. He get rid of the mustache, and he does somewhat resemble him. Kind of. If he was older. Yeah, that would be funny if, like, Santos was actually, like, secretly, like, one of the most dangerous drug lords alive. Fashionably late. That is true. That is very true, that this is Trump in a nutshell. Always late. He purposely does, I don't know why, but he purposely, like, waits an hour just to show up. Santos is the type of guy to get in a fight that looks like the Big Dust Classic cartoons. Oh my gosh. I love the Santos memes because they're probably not far from the truth. My name is George Harwell White. Yeah, okay, we're getting a lot of Breaking Bad references now. It's over. We're done. Oh, close up shop. We're losing. We lost. We can't allow Breaking Bad. Brian Daley for California Senate. That would be a bad idea. Chauvin for president. No. All right. Trump, please. Please get here. We need Republicans to stop moving to Florida and start moving to swing states. Yeah, but if we Democrats get a trifecta in 2024, it's over. This country's beyond repair. Imagine we lock the Dems out of their own stronghold in California. You will immediately see them go to court and change the law. I guarantee it. They'll be like, oh, actually, we need 2 parties on the ticket. So, I guarantee you that's what's going to happen if that happened. Raffensperger or Burt Jones for Georgia Senate. Burt Jones. Infinitely better than Raffensperger, the loser. It's very sad we gotta deal with clowns like Raffensperger. Santos is the type of guy to be elected president the day after the inauguration. It comes out that he was born in Bolivia. Well, who knows with Santos? I still don't know where he came. I still don't know where he was born. I hope Abbott calls Sull to replace Paxton. That would be like, I don't know if that's an upgrade or not. Would it be an upgrade for to have Saul Goodman as Attorney General over Paxton? Donald Trump claiming the F word. I'm not going to get into that because that was stupid. That's what I'm talking about. There's parts of Trump when he speaks, he goes off, and it sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. He's born in Brazil, that we know of. He supposedly is born from Brazil. Of course it was Brazil. Of all countries, he could have been born. You pick one of the biggest memes. Next year to tell me he was like, secretly he moved to Ohio. I love it. I love the memes when it comes to Santos. Santos, the Sith Lord masterminding the culture wars and played both sides. Yeah, did you guys see that poll yesterday of, like 46% of people want Obergefell being overturned, which was a gay marriage, Supreme Court decision? I mean, it seems like we're starting to win the cultural stuff to a lesser extent. We saw a bunch of polls yesterday. I mean, like 65% people said that, there's only 2 genders, up from 52% like 2 years ago. So it seems like we're pushing the Overton window, but yeah. Here in Brazil, under the leftist government Lula, but the Congress is blocking him. Yes, isn't the Congress like super conservative in Brazil? Don't know for certain, but oh my gosh. Santos win New York City. If there's one candidate to do it, it'll be Santos, the complete chaos candidate. I seriously doubt it's actually that high amount of people I'm dooming. Well, that was according to a poll. So, and that was from YouGov. Very interesting. Very, very interesting, if true. Could be wrong, but I think there's something there at least. Stacey Abrams for president. Chris Christie versus Abrams. We would be screwed as a country completely. We either lose or we lose. %65% is pretty low. It was up from 52%. Where's the Orange Man speech? This is Trump we're talking about. He does this shit every time when it comes to showing up like an hour late. Apparently there are Hochul and Santos voters. I saw that. Orange Man late. Yeah, it's Trump. This is peak Trump when he just doesn't show up. Mike Lindell. No, that's like worst case scenario if Lindell was the nominee. Should Giuliani try to primary Nicole Marcus? Maybe. Orange Man is eating the classified documents. It doesn't work the same as Chris Christie. When you say stuff like that, it just doesn't slap. All right, Trump, where are you at? Where are you at, dude? It turns out that's like he's been speaking the entire time, like everybody forgot. Doug Jones for Alabama governor? No. If Chris Christie does win, then the Hank Johnson statement will come true and the U.S. will tip over because the White House can't handle the Christie. Oh, I love it. Ric Flair for press secretary. Rittenhouse versus Baldwin. No. Just no. That's all I gotta say about that situation. Roy Moore for president. I don't think so. I don't think so. Nope. All right, it's 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. It's supposedly Trump's about to show up. We're probably going to be here for another hour. Roy Moore, Rittenhouse versus Evers? No. Does Jones have a better chance of... Does Jones have a bigger chance of holding on in 2020 than Garner? LT says so, and he's never been wrong. Yeah, Doug Jones got crushed. Chris Christian versus Biden. Who are you supporting? Neither. I would write in Zeldin or Trump or Pat Buchanan. Somebody else. Just not that. I wouldn't vote for Christie and I wouldn't vote for Biden. We would be screwed as a country either way. Because at that point, that would mean the Bush coalition is back. And the working class vote got thrown out. So, yeah, it would be third party. Where's the Don? I don't know. Where is the Trump? AOC and Abrams versus Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Obviously, I would vote for Boebert and them, but I don't know who would win that. Because both those tickets are not well liked. I don't think many people like AOC or Abrams. I don't think much people like Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene. Really don't think so. Zelensky, no. Yeah, so if Trump doesn't show up in like 15 minutes, I'm probably gonna head out. Because I ain't waiting for Orange Man to show up for an hour. I don't get why Marjorie Taylor Greene is being so cringe when she can't win statewide anyways. I don't know. If the rumors are true, which they probably are, that explains a lot. I'm not going to say it, but yeah. Notice she's gotten close to McCarthy the past 2 months. Put two and two together. That's the rumor. That's all I will say. I'm not going to get into it. Nope. Taylor Greene a sellout? Yeah. She's completely flipped on everything. Speaking of free content, Real American, when all the known candidates are done announcing, can you rank their presidential logos? I probably will. I probably will rank all of them because there are some pretty good logos. Michigan Schizo Senate 2024. Justice John Gibbs, Rashid Tlaib, and Justin. Oh my gosh, Amash. No, I would not vote, or I would vote for Gibbs, but wouldn't go too well. Hello, Biden and Zelensky. I need $5 billion. Whatever. Okay, Blumph, where are you at? Rank the announcement speeches. Chris Christie's obviously like Z. It's below, not even that. Z is like last, like worst case. It's below that. I mean, what do you even define for Chris Christie's? We may go into numbers at that point, like 0. 0 out of A or something like that. It's so bad. Chris Christie's announcement. It's below 0, just like his approval. Free content. Her terrible optics were made up for a great record, but without her anti-establishment streak, Marjorie Taylor Greene is just dead weight. Yeah, I agree. We need to send immigrants to Canada. Canada is so progressive that Canadian Anglos barely have any values anymore. No. Just no. New York Senate race. Santos versus AOC versus Cuomo. The chaos race. Again, turnout for that election would be like 5%. Not even. It would be those 3 people vote, and there'd be a bunch of write-ins. That's exactly what would happen. You would see a shitload of write-ins in that Senate race. Move to Pennsylvania. Maybe.
President Donald J. Trump.
Hold on. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's Trump.
When you think about it,
there's
the
somebody.
years since 2016 have presented the perfect opportunity
Oh,
for our country to
he's
see
here.
side by side what conservative policies can do and what liberal policies will do. President Trump cut taxes. Our economy soared. Wages.
Come on, get the
increased.
Trump.
President Biden
We want
spent trillions
Trump.
of dollars that we don't have, and inflation has skyrocketed, and we're all paying for it. President Trump locked down the border and promoted law and order. Our streets were safe and our border was secure.
Let's go. He's going to do for like a
President
5-minute
Biden threw open
speech.
the border. Now criminals roam free, and fentanyl poison is killing young people in every community in this country.
Come on, Blump.
We cannot allow 4 more years of this radical left making our country the
just get to
science labs
Trump.
for their extreme experiments.
Volume's kind of
Our
low.
children
Yeah,
are
let me
paying
bring
the
this up.
price.
Sorry about that.
Now Republicans in the House,
Okay, there we
for the
go.
first
Better.
time, are standing together and holding the line.
This isn't Alex Jones, no.
Democrats control the Senate, and Joe Biden, of course, is in the White House, but you can be proud of Republicans in the House. We're standing together and fighting to stop Joe Biden's agenda.
That's
we cut
bullshit.
trillions in spending. We put welfare recipients back to work. We cut red tape to unleash the energy industry. We stopped D.C. Democrats from coddling criminals. We ended the long overdue COVID
I love the
emergency.
North Carolina GOP, but come on.
We need
We're here for
reinforcement.
Trump.
As chairman of the National Republican Congressional Committee in 2024, I'm working to grow our House majority. And by the way, thank you.
Oh, it's Hudson.
Thank you, North Carolina, for giving me the opportunity to serve you and to be selected by my colleagues to be 4th in line to the Speaker and run our campaign committee. At the NRCC, we're going to elect conservative warriors coast to coast, even in blue states like New York and California, because our ideas resonate with real people.
Absolute cap.
You know what? We're even going to pick up seats right here in North Carolina, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to gain like 4.
Jeff Jackson, Don Davis, Wiley Nickel, we're coming for you.
Hopefully
but I'm not
more.
content to just win seats in the House. We need to take the Senate. But even more important, we need to win the White House to put our
McCarthy
country back
caved.
on
Yeah,
track.
he did. 4th in line.
And I'm here tonight to officially and formally endorse Donald J. Trump for president.
Woohoo! Richard Hudson. Pretty good guy. Pretty good congressman.
And let me tell you why. My wife, Renee, worked for President Trump for 4 years in the White House. She saw firsthand President Trump's character. She saw President Trump's heart.
Gerrymander.
She saw firsthand how much Donald Trump loves this country. And President Trump worked hard as a leader of our party to elect Republicans up and down the ballot. In 2020, the last time President Trump was on the ballot, all
Yeah,
the
let you get the footage
prognosticators
up. I actually can, I
predicted
think.
doom and gloom. They said we're going to lose 20 seats in the House. Well, thanks to Donald Trump, we gained 15 seats in the House that year.
And remember, he's one of the top people in the House, and he's saying this. He's in charge of the NRCC.
I have personally witnessed President Trump working the phones, making calls on behalf of our candidates, including myself, because he cares about building a strong party and he cares about the team. He knows how to connect with and turn out segments of our voters that are critical to the Republican victory. And as our standard bearer, he will help us win up and down the ballot in 2024. And President Trump knows a strong party means winning races, and winning races means we can enact policies that will save America and stop the radical left. Because we need a future where we're all better off, a future where we can afford eggs and gas, a future where our country treats law-abiding citizens better than criminals, a future with a secure border, a future where boys can't compete in women's sports, a future without Joe Biden, a future led by President Donald J. Trump. Are you with me? Let's make America great again. Thank you, North Carolina. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get like 50 speakers. We want Trump. I can't play this music. I don't think. Nope. Yeah, I definitely can't. I'm gonna put this music down for a second, or footage down until he comes out. But man, that was lame. We want Trump. Are they gonna wait another hour? Yeah, there's just music. Can't play it. We want Blumph. Yeah, we're only here for Trump. We're not here for Richard Hudson, who I think's gonna be a good NRCC chairman, but that's not really saying much compared to other people. Put Trump in the camera. Well, he's not here yet, I don't think. Come on. Where's LeBlumph? Who, again, they probably started this and they're not going to be here for another hour. Ugh. I'm very seriously contemplating not streaming the rest of this. Because we're going to be here for another hour, aren't we? Alright, how about this? I don't know. Robinson speak. Yeah, hopefully Mark Robinson speaks. If he speaks, we'll stay. Just waiting. Where's Trumper? We gotta wait. That's the sad part. Maverick Till speaks. No way he does. He got censored. Actually, I'm here for Richard Hudson. Oh yeah, you didn't even know about him showing up. I'm totally here for him. The DNC kidnapped Blumph. If Hudson is a good NRCC chairman, you think we could flip the 2 Cali seats in Orange County? Maybe. If he cooks, we have a chance. Just waiting. Trump's always like, yeah, he was supposed to start at 5. Or 6. It's 7. Did Trump actually get arrested? Blumph got arrested. That's such a funny joke. Do you think the immigrant crisis can help Trump in Philadelphia? I don't see how that would. Don't know how that would. Imagine Christie shows up and starts yelling to the crowd about how Trump is appeasing Putin. Would he even show up? He's probably just gonna sit in New Jersey. He traveled to New Hampshire. He's probably gonna stay there for a month. Let's be honest here. Yeah, this is just not fun. Not fun without Blumph. Blumph got arrested as Jover. Well, if he doesn't show up, we may just end it here. Tim Scott will flip Detroit. I don't think so. Chris Christie. Chris Christie ate Trump. Imagine being a Chris Christie super donor. Yeah, can you imagine like giving Chris Christie like $1,000 when you probably know he's just gonna go like McDonald's or like Dunkin' Donuts? I mean, that's what he would do. Tim Scott win all the black districts. No. Someone should pull a big penguin and donate 30 memberships. No, don't do that. Last time we did that, it broke everything. Tim Scott won Gary, Indiana. No. I doubt it. I doubt any Republican will ever win Gary, Indiana for a presidential election. BLM Scott. Well, it seems like he's gotten better, but Tim Scott wins DC. Maybe in a primary, but that's about it. Joe Kent for VP. No, not Joe Kent. Go with Jim Walsh in Washington 3rd. Good enough on the issues, and he would win easily. Ron DeSantis or Ron DeSantis? No, it's winner. Just answer. What's his last name then? Is it DeSantis or DeSantis? D. He keeps changing every 5 minutes. So, which one is it there, guy? I hate to see the Christie campaign receipts when it comes to the food expense. All right. If Trump doesn't show up in 5 minutes, I think we're going to call it. Because I got to do some stuff and I'm running out of time. I would continue if like Trump shows up. But doesn't look like that's going to happen in sight. So if you have any questions or super chats, I recommend you send them now. Just in case we end like in 5 minutes. Which there's an opportunity because Trump is refusing to show up, and this is a longer stream than I intended. I tend to be done by like 6:30. Rap turned Canadian for 3 seconds. Really? Honestly, Rap, at this point, you should end the stream. Bro, he's gonna show up. I'm not gonna wait an hour more. When we were told 6 o'clock, it's 7:17. He's going to appear, but it's like, I don't know. So if you got any more super chats or anything crazy like that, just send them now, just in case. Or any more questions. He'll show up the second you end it. I know he will. Rap not a real team. Rap not a real team Trump. What? I support Trump. I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna wait here for 3 hours. You gonna make a second stream? No. I'm probably gonna head off. It just I got stuff to do and I don't want to wait another hour. And there's a good chance this may turn into. Oh, is that Mark Robinson? I saw Robinson walking across the thing. I believe that was him. Someone said on it's been moved to 7:30. Well, they've been saying this for a while. Now it's 7:30. Okay, do you think Mark Robinson? I don't think that was him. But if nobody shows up at 5:20, we're done. Or 7:20, I should say. We're done. We're out. We're out of it. We're gone. I don't think that was him, though. It's just the very bottom of the screen. You can, like, see people. That may have been him, but... I hope it's Mark Robinson. Hope he shows up. Do you ever stream on Rumble? No. The UI sucks, so until Rumble fixes their some of their UI. Alright, I got a deal. End stream if nothing happens in like 2 minutes. Did they move it to tomorrow? Turns out the real speaker is real American. So true. Because, okay, if it's stream... oh my gosh. Do you make content on BitChute? No. No, I don't. Mark Robinson's, let's see, great news for Masters equals Trump will appear any second. Oh, I hate democracy. They moved it to the day before tomorrow. I hate democracy. I hate it. Why do I make content BitChute? Because what's the point? Trump has arrived? Yeah, right. CNN reports Brap got paid off by Chris Christie and Donuts to end the stream. 10 a.m. ballots for... No, I'm not going to say it. Do some... opinion Nick Fuentes. No comment. No comment. No comment. BitChute over Odyssey over Rumble over Odyssey I've not looked at either. But, you know, I do got some big news coming very soon. Very soon about the Rumble stuff. Which I can't say right now. But Trump's on stage. No, he isn't. Do you think Romney will get primaried out? Hopefully. Oh, it sounds like somebody here.
What a great crowd we've got here tonight.
Boo. We want Trump.
Welcome to the biggest and the best North Carolina Republican Party convention that we've ever had. We have had an absolutely fantastic run of show with a whole lot of great speakers. We are very excited to have all of our dignitaries here in the audience today. We have several members of Congress. We have several members of the legislature. We have several courts And we've got Republicans from all 100 counties who are
We
here
want
tonight,
Trump.
and this has been an absolutely fantastic convention. Now, you guys know we had a couple other speakers last night and earlier today for lunch, and we have a very, very special speaker here with us tonight. Make sure that we are going to be able to roll out a great North Carolina welcome for President Donald J. Trump.
Come on, get to it. Is that him? Oh my gosh, is he showing up finally? I'm muting this. I'm gonna laugh if they just sit there for like 10 minutes and nothing happens. I'm gonna mute it for copyright reasons. What are you watching this on? I'm watching on YouTube. This guy is what? Discount Zeldin. That looked like him.
Distract from Biden's incompetence.
Oh, gosh, get to the. I always hate when he plays the ad at every rally. I'm gonna turn that off so you can see the cringe counter properly. There we go. There, you can see it good.
Of the United States, President Donald J.
Woo!
Trump.
On YouTube, I love this song, but I can't play it on YouTube. I'm sorry. I love it, but I can't. It's really good music, but I cannot do it on stream. Very sad. Very sad. Mark Robinson. Why do they zoom out so far? Is Christie coming next? We want Nixon. Trouble burst all the curtains like the Kool-Aid Man. +1 cringe. Yeah, I agree. The ad, I hate when they do that. Yeah, and on top of being late, that's 2. We're up to 2, Trump. Is Mark Robinson there? I would assume. Where is he? He's right there. He's just standing there. He's playing the entire song. No. No. He still hasn't moved. Is Trump broken? I think this Trump is not working correctly. He's still not moving. Bruh. Bro looks like Joe Biden right now. He still hasn't moved. He's still not moving. Anti-Piracy League for 2. Objectively speaking, Trump 1, 2020 0. He's invisible if he doesn't move. He still hasn't. Oh my gosh. I had to mute it for the music. He's playing the entire freaking song. Now, there! Oh, come on! Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah!
Thank you very much. Great crowd. This is beautiful.
Trump
I want to thank
again.
Michael and congratulations on your re-election as party chairman. That's a big deal. That was a big deal. It's great to be back in North Carolina. Very special place. Very, very special place. We've had tremendous success here. We won it twice. We won the primaries twice. We won the election twice. It was
Trump, don't cook. Don't cook, Trump.
I also want to thank our outstanding NRCC chairman. Where is the chairman? Richard Hudson. Where's the chairman? Come on, Richard, stand up. We just got back from Georgia, and he's even a celebrity in Georgia. We had a great crowd in Georgia, too. He's fourth in line for Speaker, and his wonderful wife, Renee, is incredible.
I wonder what he's going to say about the
she served 4
debt
years,
limit.
actually, in the White House. As Kellyanne, is anyone here of Kellyanne Conway? Nobody, right? She's so fantastic. But thank you, and thank the family. Your family is fantastic. We appreciate it. Thanks also to one of the great stars of the party, one of the great stars in politics, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson.
Yeah! Let's go! The Chad himself. Mark Robinson, make him emperor, please.
And I'm going to endorse Mark, but I'm not going to tell you about it tonight, okay? We'll save it for another time.
All right,
You
that's
can count on it, Mark.
down to negative. We're down to negative 10 for that. That was epic.
We also have some warriors that we fight together with all the time, and we win a lot. We win most of the time. Representatives Dan Bishop. Where's Dan?
Yeah!
Dan? Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. Great job. Great job. We love him. Chuck Edwards. Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Not the best fan.
State House Speaker Tim Moore. Tim, thank you very much.
The guy that's sleeping with
Great
Democrats.
Tim's doing a fantastic job. Thank you. For 7 years, we've been engaged in an epic struggle to rescue our country from the sinister forces who actually hate it and want to destroy it.
And a separate
I
base
really
counter.
believe
The
that
crunch
we
counter is
destroy
kind
it.
of that. If
You
it's
know
negative,
what?
it's based.
These forces are far stronger than Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran all put together, because with the right leader, you saw that just 3 years ago, we have the right leader. All of those countries are absolutely no threat. They're not any threat to us. We talked about it before. Right now, however, they're putting us in the most dangerous position in the history of our country. We've never been in a position like this. There's never been such danger. It's because of the weaponry, the power of the weaponry. And we have people that have no clue. We have people in office that have no clue. Together we stand up to the globalists. We stand up to the Marxists. We stand up to the rhinos, because they're very bad. Because you don't know where they're coming from, the rhinos, you don't know where they're coming from. We stand up to the communists and the environmental extremists, because I'm an environmentalist.
I can't.
I really believe that. We've done some
Unless
great
I
things for the
can-
environment, but you have extremists, and you don't know whether or not they're really serious about some of this stuff. It's not even believable. We stand up to the
that's
open
loud.
borders
I'm sorry.
fanatics, destroying
That was
our
my
country.
bad.
The radical left Democrats, their lawless partisan
That's good.
prosecutors, and the fake news media. We have a lot of it back there, but not all of them are fake. That's a big group back there, by the way. Dan, I think they're here for you, maybe. And on November 5th, 2024, we're going to stand up to the corrupt political establishment. We're going to evict a totally corrupt
that's my bad.
president named Joe
You're
Biden
right,
from
that's
the
my
White
bad.
House. And we're going to finish the job that we so successfully started. Probably there's been no more important 4 years than we had. We did a great job. All of us
We want
together.
Trump.
Things we did nobody thought were possible. I put everything on the line. I will never yield. I will never be deterred. I will never stop fighting for you. Never. And if I wasn't leading in the polls by so much, we'd have no difficulty. And you know, they're the party of disinformation. They say, oh, we want to run against Trump. In the meantime, we got 5,000 prosecutors after us because they don't want to run against Trump. We beat him the first time. We did much better the second time. We beat him.
I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm still not trusting the YouTube policy.
More than any other president, more votes than any other sitting president has ever gotten. and more votes in terms of the margin from 63 million, and they had millions and millions. No president's done that.
This is cringe when Trump says this stuff.
Time. You know, you get tired of them. They weren't tired of me because we got many more votes. With your vote, we will take back our country from these fascists and thugs, and we will indeed make America great again.
That's good.
From the beginning, our America First agenda has been an existential threat to the rotten political class that gets rich and powerful at your expense, erasing our borders, cheating like we've never seen before in elections.
Trump, dude, Trump, really?
Foreign wars.
I have to be careful, my guy. I don't want this stream to get struck down.
71 years, no wars. They all said Trump will get us into a war. He's got that personality. No, it was my personality that kept us out of wars. But we finished some wars. We finished ISIS, 100% of the caliphate. We knocked out ISIS. We did whatever we had to do, and we were respected all over the world as warriors without having to fight wars. You know who doesn't fight too many wars? China. You ever notice? It's all talk. It's beautiful military. They try and beat you economically, not militarily, and there's something very smart about that, isn't there? But they respected us. They respected your president, and they respected our country. They no longer respect us, and it's very sad what's happening. They've launched one hoax, these people we have to deal with, and they've launched witch hunt.
This is my problem with Trump.
And they just try to stop
I don't like when he's soft-spoken like
this. They want to do anything they can to thwart the will of the American people. It's called election interference. That's what they're doing
Trump.
now. This is election interference.
Trump.
And we've never seen it on a scale like this. And you have to understand, the other side is downright crooked. That's why we now call him Crooked Joe Biden, because, you know, we took the name away from Hillary. She suffered enough with that name.
That's pretty
good.
So
I retired the name from Hillary because I wanted to bring it over to Biden, because he's probably worse than she ever was. So that's saying something. As the Durham report proved, they spied on my campaign. They forged false evidence to get illegal surveillance warrants.
I know he's
the
been
FBI
busy,
offered
but
$1 million for a fictitious dossier written by a foreign spy to try and frame me for treason. We beat it all off, didn't we? They put our country through hell, and they knew it was a lie the entire time. They knew it was a lie. They knew the laptop from hell was a lie. They knew everything. Remember, it's not me they're going to go after. And if you think of it, whoever took my place, and I hope it's not going to be anybody, because we're the ones that are going to save this country, because our country's in trouble. They'll go after that person, and that person will not be able to withstand the fire. And I know all of them. I know them all.
The speech is
from
today.
They come to me, how do you stand this? And I usually look at them and say, in a sick way, I sort of enjoy it. Because it exposes them. It exposes them for what they are. And it's also lifted the poll numbers to even higher legs. Have you seen this? The polls are through the roof, and the fundraising, small dollar fundraising, is setting records. But still, you get indicted over nothing. You get indicted over
he sounded tired in Georgia
today, Act, which they don't even admit. They call it the Espionage Act. These are sick people. We had Russia, Ukraine, the no collusion Mueller witch hunt, impeachment hoax number 1. Remember the perfect phone call? Impeachment hoax number 2, the illegal censorship of the Hunter Biden laptop from hell, the 51 intelligence officials who falsely said it was Russian disinformation. Remember they said that? I said, nobody believes that. Who would believe that? You see the pictures, horrible pictures. The real pictures haven't been exposed yet. But all of this, and it just kept coming and coming and coming, and it would for another person in my position, but they wouldn't be able to handle it. They wouldn't be able to take it because you're dealing with crazy lunatics. Now the Marxist left is once again using the same corrupt DOJ and the same corrupt FBI.
So far, it's been okay. It's not been bad.
Local district attorneys to interfere in our election at a level that our country has never witnessed
YouTube,
before.
don't sue me.
These criminals cannot be rewarded. They must be defeated. We have to defeat them soundly. In the end, they're not coming after me. They're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way. The baseless indictment of me by the Biden administration's weaponized Department of Injustice will go down as among the most horrific abuses of power in the history of our country. I think it already
It's been good
is,
so far. Don't get me wrong, but it's like,
and certainly going
just
back
need a
to
little bit of
Obama,
energy and
when I
don't
said,
talk
you know,
about
they spied on
2020.
my campaign, everybody, including the fake news media back there, they said, "Oh, that's so crazy." Turned out I was right. This vicious persecution is a travesty of justice. You're watching Joe Biden try to jail his leading political opponent. Think of it. This is like third world country stuff. Trying to put his opponent, who's leading him by a lot, wants to put him in jail over following a civil act. This is a simple thing. The Presidential Records Act, it's all under the Presidential Records Act, as it should be. It's all under the Clinton Sox case. You know what
it works. No, it works, but it's like, we should have had a little bit more.
He ended up winning that he could keep the things that we're talking about. It's all under that, Mr. Congressman. We discussed that before. But this is more like Stalinist Russia or Communist China that we're dealing with. These people have reached a level of Trump derangement syndrome that nobody thought was possible. And I never thought, frankly, that this could happen in America. You go after a president that got, again, the most votes by far of any sitting president in history, gets out of office. And because I'm running, if I wasn't running, wouldn't even be talking about it.
That's true.
If I weren't leading, we wouldn't be talking about it. But we're leading by a lot. We are leading to sanctimonious by massive numbers.
I do not like that
He's
nickname.
heading south quickly. No personality. You got to have a personality to win. He's got no personality.
I don't like the nickname, but that's pretty good.
And, you know, remember that when he came to me, he had virtually no votes. He was dying, as the expression goes. He was dead. I said, George Washington could endorse you. It wouldn't matter. No, sir, if you endorse me, I'm telling you I'm going to win. I said, let's give it a shot. I endorsed him. He went up like a rocket ship, and shortly thereafter, they had the primary, and he won. And then we had to get him through a crackhead. But nobody knew he was a crackhead at the time. At the time, he was the hottest politician
Second Obama,
in the Democrat
Andrew
Party.
Gillum.
Male version. Female version, Stacey Abrams. True. Stacey Abrams and him. But he was hard to beat. And Ron said to me, I don't think I can beat him. I said, you'll beat him, you'll beat him. And I did 3 rallies, massive, massive, massive rallies, thousands and thousands of people. And I said, you're going to win. And he ended up winning. And then they started cheating at the end. Do you remember?
Trump, dude. Trump.
FBI.
Okay.
Would you believe it? And it stopped. So at least they did something right. But I got him in. And then they said to him, I said, congratulations, Ron. I didn't know him that well. He was one of the many people that supported me during the impeachment hoaxes. So I'd see him on television a little bit, but I didn't know him well. Then I heard 3 years later, they said, would you run against the president? And he said, I have no comment. That means he's going to run. I said, I got this guy in, Mr. Congressman. And he said he's going to run. And then I haven't been very nice to him since then. But we're leading in Florida by 28 points. And people are not happy with him. And he's a lousy campaigner. Remember that when he came to see me, he had almost no points. He was ready to look for a new career. You told me that better than anybody. He was looking for a job. And when I endorsed him, it was like magic. It was like he was a rocket ship. But I believe in loyalty. And, you know, it's just very disloyal. If somebody got me into office, and I got him in, you know, some people I help. Some people I help, and some people I get.
Okay, Trump, this is a bit hypocritical. I have to bring this down a little bit.
I got this guy in, along with some
When it comes to loyalty,
some people I help, and that's different. Some people I help a little bit. Some people I help a lot. But some people I get in. I got this guy in. So, you know, you think there'd be a little bit of a loyalty. And it's bad for the Republican Party, frankly. But let's see what happens. But we're leading by a lot. But meanwhile, Joe Biden had troves and troves, thousands of boxes, classified documents.
Okay,
from
I
his
thought he was
time
going to go
as
down a
vice
certain route,
president.
but...
And even as a senator, and boy, when you're a senator and you take classified documents, that's a big deal. I watched Dick Durbin get so angry about it. I said, well, he'll be brought back into the fold eventually. But he went out.
Why do you still try to counter Trump's claims until 2020? Because I don't trust YouTube. I never have about that stuff.
Out of a skiff.
So I'm just trying to be careful.
Out of a skiff. As a senator, it's unheard of. I spoke to a lot of senators. They said, I don't believe it. A lot of them. Got a lot of them. They didn't believe it. And they come after me. And we had a wonderful operation. Everything by the Presidential Records Act. We were talking to NARA. But, you know, NARA's radical left. Do you know they have a red flag on the Constitution of the United States and on the Bill of Rights? You know what red flag is? It is a dangerous document. This is where NARA's coming from. And they're they've done, I would say over the last number of years, very poor job. But they're very, very radical left. So you have to be careful of these people. But they conspire with the FBI. They conspire with it's just a crazy situation. I mean, that this country goes.
Some of the again, I understand what Trump's saying, but it's like
the same brilliance.
We've heard a lot of this already.
Making America great again, to fighting Russia, to fighting China, to fighting all these people that are eating our lunch like China. We did a great job with China. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs from China. Think of it. No other president took in any money, not $2. But many of Biden's documents were in Chinatown, D.C.
This is pretty good.
You know what Chinatown,
this is Trump's bread and butter.
That's the real deal. That's the place. And he's getting money based on reports currently. And if the media, the fake news, was doing their job, they'd be earning Pulitzer Prizes, which no longer mean anything. You know, I'm suing the Pulitzer Foundation. You know that because they gave Pulitzer Prizes to reporters from the New York Times and the Washington Post because of their wonderful and accurate reporting on Russia, but they were wrong. In fact, the Durham report just said how wrong they were, but they were. But we knew that even before.
And nobody got charged for it.
Many of them have already conceded the fact that they were wrong.
Yeah, his voice is a little bit different.
Prizes. We want those prizes taken back, and we want them maybe reissued to other people like Greg Jarrett, like John Solomon, like all these people that actually did call it right. They were real reporters. They really did a great job. But they have to take those back. And so we're suing them. And we're suing them for damages because they're libeling me by saying that these people continue to have the Pulitzer Prize. That means they're saying that the story of Russia, which even the papers themselves have now admitted is a hoax, that's libeling me because they're saying that it continues to exist. So let's see what happens with that. But we have to bring back our country. We have to bring back sanity into our country. You know, the media is so important. They could straighten things out so badly, so quickly. Look, if 15 years ago...
His rhetoric's perfect, just some of his energy is not there.
15 years ago, 10 years
ago, the rhetoric's
ago,
basically perfect,
said that somebody was taking money from China and from Ukraine and from all these other places, tens of millions of dollars, they would all be rushing to try and get the story. Woodward and Bernstein, I'm not a fan of either one, actually. I got to know them, major sleazebags, but, you know, Woodward looks like such a wonderful guy. He's absolutely the worst. What sleazebags? Oh, poor Richard Nixon. He had to put up with them, but I got my own problems with these people. But Woodward's a sleaze. Bernstein, I don't know, but he looks pretty bad to me. I don't know Bernstein. I heard he was the poorer of the two. He seemed to be that. He's a nasty person, though. For a person that doesn't know me, I don't think I ever met him. But if I did, it was quick. But he's a nasty guy. But they're all nasty because they're deranged. But we have to have our great media be policing agents so that things like this can't happen.
I just wish she was like a couple years younger.
Because, there is no
That's
scandal
only thing.
without press. If the press refuses to write that Joe Biden got $5 million, and a lot lot of other things are coming out this week, then they can't
for
really
being
be a
78,
scandal.
I
And you
understand
think
that,
of
but
it,
it's
right? They
like,
can't be.
bro, what the heck? I thought
Jamie
cut out
Comer
feed.
and Jim Jordan have been incredible, and their committees. But it's amazing that they sometimes say to me, not the two individuals, but people in the committees and people in Congress. We were talking about it just a little while ago with a few congressmen. We have stuff that's so earth-shaking. And you put out the announcement, and you think it's going to be headlines in the New York
At least
Times, and
77.
the Washington Post.
Yeah,
every
I just
paper
wish she
and
was like
every
70 right now.
ABC, which is real fake. I call it ABC fake news, NBC fake news, CBS fake news. But you put it, I put fake in front of every one of them. And nobody can say it's not. It's like they're coordinated. They're totally coordinated. They use a word, like they had a word not so long ago, manufactured. The votes are manufactured. Every station said the same thing. It's never been used in politics before. Nobody ever
probably
said
just deals with a court
votes are
case in the
manufactured.
campaign.
Every
Yeah,
one
but
of
he's not
them.
been on the campaign much.
I want to report that the votes have been manufactured. You turn to the next one, ABC. The votes have been manufactured. It's like somebody sends them a memo what to say. But if they were honest, our country would be in such great shape. Amazing. But they're not. It's no coincidence they indicted me the very same day it was revealed that the FBI hid explosive evidence.
Yeah, why is nobody talking about
Joe
this?
Biden took a $5 million illegal bribe from Ukraine.
Yeah, why is nobody talking about that?
This
That's
is
huge. Way bigger than what
I haven't
Trump
read anything
supposedly
about
did.
it. This would have been the biggest story in history 10 years ago. Walter Cronkite would have reported it, and he was on the liberal side, to put it mildly. But he would have made this the biggest story. But we don't have Walter Cronkite anymore, do we? Walter Cronkite.
We have Rachel Maddow
and
instead.
The great ones are gone. Right as they're closing in on Hunter and Joe Biden, they want me to put up with this form of retribution like nobody's ever seen before. But it's okay because the public is smart.
Every time something
it's
bad
amazing
happens in
how
Biden,
smart
this stuff
the public
happens.
is. I go
Yeah, I
through
always
the town,
noticed
I was
that.
always
The second
doing
that something
well,
comes out
and
of
people
Biden,
like
they're suddenly
me.
indicting him.
We did great with
Just seems like it.
all the votes we got, the most ever for sitting president. But I was doing great. I've never had receptions. We just left Georgia, and we had a room that was, they've never had anything like it. And there were thousands and thousands of people outside trying to get in for the Republican chairman's lunch. Not normally the biggest thing. Now, because Michael is so outstanding, of course, this is a big deal. But you've never seen the streets, tremendous crowds at the airport waiting. The airport
there's
being
definitely
very
energy
far away
behind
from
Trump
the venue
still.
where it was. People all along the roadway. And this is not really campaign season. People are disgusted with what's going on in our country. They want America
Yeah, he said
back.
for city president. I'm just
They
being
want
careful.
America back. So I've been predicting this for a long time, just like I did with Live. Live Golf. I told the players, take the money. They're all calling me, say, thank you very much. Should I take $185 million? Say, yeah, take it. But, sir, that means I have to leave the tour. Don't worry about it. Take it, because three things are going to happen. They're going to merge, which I predicted they would, and it was nice. They actually covered me very well. They said it was, really good. But they're either going to merge or they're going to be successful. In one case, got $185 million. Great
That's
one,
nuts.
Dustin. Great player, Dustin Johnson. Brooks Koepka. These guys, they're great. But, lots of others were offered hundreds of millions of dollars. They said,
this is the
no,
blumph
and now
that would
there's a
win
merger.
with
And I
this
actually made the
messaging. Yeah, I
statement. I
agree.
said, if there's a merger and you don't take the money, you're going to have a lot of very unhappy golfers out there. And you have a lot of very unhappy golfers out there. But it was exactly as I said. But I called this one too. And I said that Hunter will probably be charged with some minor offense like jaywalking.
Jaywalking.
So that the FBI and the DOJ can pretend that they're fair. Oh, we got Hunter. So while they're going after me under the Espionage Act, that's like the creation of missiles in your basement.
Yeah, this is Trump that I
They got
like.
him for nothing.
This is the Trump that I want all
There's never been a
the
more
time.
corrupt group of people in the history of our country running this country, where somebody sits on a board, gets $83,000 a month, a $3 million upfront payment. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. And in all fairness, was interviewed on one of the shows on
He's making
Maine
good jokes right now. He
television. They call
is.
it Maine. Used to be Sirius television. Now it's Maine television. But he said, no, I don't know why they paid me so much. Do you have expertise, sir, in oil and gas? It's an oil and gas company. No, I really don't. Do you know anything about it? No. Then why are they paying you $83,000 a month and $3 million?
Because he secretly knows.
I think it's actually more than
It's
that.
like the secret data they
These
got
are
from Team
corrupt people.
DeSantis.
These are corrupt. He had no answer. He had no answer. The money laundering, the ignoring bribery, and the other massive crimes, they all implicate crooked Joe Biden. See how good that name works? Because, you know, Hillary's now finished, let's assume, although she's probably going to try and make a comeback. After this speech, she'll probably try, but I don't think she'll be very successful.
That's pretty good.
A woman that was out of control. The stakes of this election could not be more stark. Either we have a communist state. You know, they used to use the term deep state. I'm stopping it. I'm using it Marxist. I'm using it fascist.
No.
I'm using communist because
Not
deep
good.
state is far
Not
too
good,
soft.
Trump. I don't like that.
Far too soft.
Don't like it.
Remember, during the campaign, I'd say we're going to end up being another Venezuela, but on steroids. Big scale version, big, large, beautiful scale version of Venezuela. How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. But now we're buying oil from Venezuela, so we're making a dictator very rich. Can you believe this? Nobody can believe it. You know where the oil,
Why is
their
that
oil is
cringe?
garbage. It's
Because
horrible. The worst you can get.
Deep
Tar.
state
It's
appeals
like
more
tar.
people.
And to refine it.
Plus,
you
he's trying
need
to shill to
special
like
plants.
Cubans.
And these people are talking about not doing oil. We have liquid gold, the best, most beautiful stuff you can get. Liquid gold, better than gold, right under our feet. We have more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia. We were going to have the greatest energy system in the world. We're going to pay off debt. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to make so much money that these guys came along and they stopped it all. What we had done is amazing. But with Venezuela, they put their oil and they refine it in Houston.
You gotta say deep state.
So all of those pollutants go right up in the air. We don't want to take oil because we want to watch the environment, but we'll take the worst tar in the world, burn the crap out of it, create oil, and watch it go into our atmosphere. So the environmentalists have no problem with that. So we lose economically, and we also lose from an environmental standpoint because it is really dirty stuff, the dirtiest stuff you can imagine. We take it from Venezuela, and we also make the country strong again. And the head of the country is a dictator. It's not even believable, some of the things that are happening. Open borders.
Yeah, we want nuclear energy.
Who would believe no voter ID? I want to vote. Oh, go ahead and vote. That's why they have all these people coming, and they think they're going to be able to vote. The funny thing is a lot of them turned for Trump. You know, a lot of them on the Texas border towns. Wouldn't that be funny? We like Trump the best. We like Trump. But the governor of Texas called me right after the election. He said, you've done something that's unprecedented. You won every single town along the border, mostly Hispanic. He said that hasn't
that's
happened
not true,
since he
but
called
close
it
enough.
Reconstruction. I said, is that Civil War? Would you say that's Civil War? That's Civil War, you know. Term we haven't heard in a long time, Reconstruction. But hadn't happened since Reconstruction, Civil War. But it happened. We did incredible. We're doing incredible with Hispanics. At the end of the day, either the communists destroy America or we destroy the communists.
You gotta use deep state. You gotta use globalists there. You can't use communists.
And never forget what the demented persecution of our movement is all about. Our enemies are desperate to stop us because they know that we are the only ones who can stop them. We're the only ones that can do it. Small group, relatively small group, but we can stop them cold, and we will. And we would have had them stop cold, and they know that. And
Nuclear
they
is
cheated
the
like
best.
dogs. They cheated
That's
like
just a
nobody's
fact.
ever cheated before.
We need nuclear.
You turn on your television at 10 o'clock, you would have said Pennsylvania's a lock. We were up by so much.
Trump.
A lock. All of a sudden, you see
Trump.
that big
Okay. I'm gonna mute that part for a little bit. Cringe counter, what's going on? It's a negative because Trump's so far been good, but I have to up that a little bit.
If you put me back in the White House, their reign will be over and America will be a free nation once again.
Who brought a cane?
Thank you very much.
I know it's real.
I
but
stand before you
I'm just
today
being-
as the
trying to be
only
careful.
candidate who has what it takes to smash this corrupt system and to truly drain the swamp. And I'm the only one that they don't want to do it. And again, that's why disinformation. We want to run against Trump. We want to run. Oh, we're dying to run against Trump. We killed him last time. They know it. Killed him with Hillary. How about that one? You think that was a little surprise? That shook them up. They said, we'll never let that happen again. So they developed all sorts of... Read the New York Times. New York Times. But read New York Times, certain stories. But read in particular Time magazine cover from a couple of years ago. Because they couldn't help themselves. They had to take credit for it. What they did was so bad for our country. And look at our country now. Look where we are. We're dying. Anyone else will be ripped to shreds. There's no issue where a spine of steel is more important than when it comes to rescuing America from a really bad Biden economy. Our economy is sick. Everything is sick.
Wow. You're telling me this
Remember,
for the first time.
and it's true, 100%, they will not be able to withstand the fire. For 3 years, Joe Biden and his corrupt allies in Washington
I know, but I'm
have
trying to be
waged
as careful as
economic
possible. I
warfare
don't
on
care
the
what YouTube
hardworking
says.
citizens of our country. Biden flooded your communities with millions and millions of illegal aliens. Look at what's happening to our country right now. Crushing American wages and stealing American jobs. I believe that, you don't hear this number, I think, from anyone else. I believe by the end of this year, the real number is 15 million people, that's bigger than New York State, will have come in to our country. He launched a vicious crusade to shut down American energy. Anwar, think of Anwar in Alaska. Ronald Reagan couldn't get it done. Nobody could get it done. So many years, so many decades, I got it done. The first day they terminated Anwar. Would have been bigger than Saudi Arabia. At least the same size. Would have been bigger. So good for Alaska. Would have been the biggest in the world. We were going to make so much money. We're going to pay off our debt. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. Remember, I gave you the
no, I
biggest
don't know
tax
about that
cuts in
one,
history,
Trump.
the biggest regulation
That was
cuts in
going up,
history.
but don't know about that.
But we would have made so much because oil and gas is such a big business. Such a big, big business, such a powerful business, and such.
I don't think you're gonna pay off the debt, though.
New England has a liberal tint, or taint. I would say taint is a better word, actually. But it's a little bit on the liberal side, they say. But they pay the highest energy prices in the United States because they're afraid to build a pipeline right through New York State in a poor region where people desperately need the job. A pipeline would bring down New England numbers by 50 or 60%, but nobody wants to talk about it.
I don't
Biden
get why
spent
they don't want
trillions
to
of
open pipes
dollars
up. I
on
don't get it.
socialist lunacy, causing the highest inflation in 52 years. Since Biden took office, the typical family has lost over, think of this, $7,400 of annual each year income. Joe, his number one job was as next president, what he wanted to do, everybody that talks, and they're right, we want to reverse what Joe Biden's done. He's been a horror show. economic horror show. He's been a horror show from the standpoint of our country. And what he's done in terms of our military, he's given away $85 billion worth of equipment, the best equipment in the world, to Afghanistan. They're now one of the leading.
So far he's been a lot better, but there's been some compared to others. But there's been some questionable statements so far. They don't need
700,000 brand new rifles. They don't need 70,000 vehicles, many of them armor plated. Think of your friends that have a used car lot and think of them as big. They're big. If they have 300 cars in that lot, it's a lot. We gave away 70,000, some of them costing millions of dollars, vehicles, armor plated, 4 inches of armor. Under my leadership, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. In fact, we did it twice. And now we're going to do it again, and it's going to be better than ever. We're going to do it again. As president, I ended years of bitter betrayals of North Carolina workers. North Carolina was hit very hard by the Democrats.
Here we go.
I withdrew from the job-killing Trans-Pacific Partnership. Would have killed your state. A globalist calamity that would have killed American manufacturing forever.
We doubled that immediately for saying that.
It was a disaster known as NAFTA. I killed NAFTA. Nobody thought it could be done. You know, you had to get it killed through Congress. You helped a lot, Mr. Congressman. It was the worst trade deal ever made. Nobody thought, because you have people, I don't know where they get their thinking, but, you know, they get it from lobbyists and lots of other people, and it's hard to get
That's pretty good when he talks about trade.
Something is really good. And we replaced it with the USMCA. That's the Mexico-Canada trade deal. And you know how I know it's good? Because they are working feverishly to try and renegotiate the deal because they're getting killed by that deal. And I just hope the Biden administration doesn't do it.
They will.
Because we suffered with NAFTA for decades. NAFTA was the most unfair. It was the worst trade deal probably ever made. I stood up to China like no administration has ever done before, bringing hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury from China when no other president had gotten anything from China. They never got anything. They got a lot of bullshit. That's what they got.
All right.
And when China targeted our farmers, I got China to give $28 billion. Who do you think else is going to do? You think Joe's going to do that? Hey, President Xi, you've really been screwing our farmers. You got to give us, got $28 billion for the farmers. That's why I say I'm not losing Iowa. Somebody said, how are you doing in Iowa? I am up like 35 points. But I said, how could I lose Iowa? I got $28 billion for the farmers. Nebraska, any farm state. You took some big chunk out of that $28 billion too, by the way. When I'm back in the Oval Office, I will revoke China's most favored nation trade status.
Keep hitting that.
And remember, they got that because they said they were a developing nation. Well, you know what? Honestly, we're a developing nation. Our cities are going to hell. We have to redevelop our cities. Our country is going to hell. Look at our cities. Look at New York and Chicago and Atlanta. Atlanta has the highest crime rate per capita of any city. Atlanta. Where they're trying to get me on a perfect phone call. People kill people and they never even get interviewed. But let's get Trump on a perfect call. A call that was so good. It was actually better than my perfect call with the Ukrainian President, Zelensky. It was more perfect. But think of it. I have many lawyers on this call.
Reduce cringe. The cringe is going down.
I have many lawyers on this call, state lawyers. Brad Raffensperger was on the call. I was calling to complain about the election because I said it was rigged.
Trump.
And had good reason.
Be careful.
But we had there many lawyers. I said things, and that was it. The call ended. Future calls were going to be had. Nobody said, sir, you shouldn't say what you just said. What a horrible thing. We just talked. What I said was perfect. It was actually perfect. Could not have been better. Most people have read it. They've said, oh, what's wrong with this? It's just a con job. They con. They're all disinformation, misinformation. It's a con job. If there were a problem with that call, these state lawyers would have said, sir, you're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, well, he's cooking.
Would you please take it back? This came up long after that call was made. It's like John Lovitz. Remember John Lovitz on Saturday Night Live? He's probably a Trump hater, but I'll use his name anyway. The liar. They called him the liar. Yeah, I went to Harvard. That's where I went. I went to Harvard. I'm a businessman. That's right, I'm a businessman. Well, they did it too. They said, let's see, there was a call with Trump. That's right, there was a call. Yeah, I think he said something. Let me tell you.
Stop spinning, yeah.
If there was anything said wrong in that call, they would have been screaming from the rafters. How dare you say that? Sir, you're not supposed to. That call was perfect. I complained about election fraud.
Trump! Trump! What are you doing? No. YouTube, this is not me.
We will gain total independence from China. We will make the United States the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we were starting to do that. Tremendous money was coming in, and to your state. It was coming into North Carolina. What a place. Under Biden, we've had record high trade deficits, which I call losses. A lot of people don't say, oh, a trade deficit isn't a loss. I call it a loss. Some people don't. I understand their thinking. I was a very good student at the Wharton School of Finance.
Yeah, there was definitely some cringe.
I wonder if they're proud of me.
I
got indicted. I wonder if they're saying,
I
oh,
can't.
that's wonderful.
I don't want you to.
I've been indicted twice now in a couple of months. You know, when I was studying and when I was a very, very successful businessman, then I did The Apprentice, and I did lots of books that were big sellers. Even now I have books that are tremendous sellers. I never had this stuff in mind. I never had the word indictment. What's indictment mean? Sir, that's when you're extremely dishonest, sir. No, these people are con men, and we have deranged people running it. For this reason, I will pass landmark legislation because we have to save our country, to be known as the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. You know what that is? When China charges us a 150% tariff, we charge them a 150%. Right now, they charge us nothing.
That's base, right there.
Right now. So we charge them nothing. They charge us 150%. So I said to one of our terrible senators, a guy named Toomey, Pat Toomey, real beauty. I said, and he was all in for the, he called it free trade. It's
base for tacking it.
Stupid trade, very stupid trade. We have a new name. We've developed a new name, stupid trade. I said, Pat, so let me ask you, China's charging us 150% tariff on various products. Can we charge them 100? No, sir, it's not free trade. I said, how about 100%? They're at 150. What about, no, sir, you can't do that. What about 50? No, sir. What about 10%, Pat? No, sir, you can't do that. That's not free trade. These are the dumbest people I've ever seen. It's called an eye for an eye or a tariff for a tariff. But isn't that a
pretty good?
Thought? Because we're getting screwed by every country in the world.
That's pretty awesome by Trump right there.
By Congress. And they approve things easy if they're bad things, if they're not politically correct, they don't want to do. But this is politically correct. This is very simple. They charge us, we charge them. What's going to happen is a lot of them will come off because they're saying, what's the use of us collecting 150 if they're going to get 150? So it's come on. But some won't do that, and that's okay because we'll take in a fortune. But we'll make trade fair, really in addition, because we're the pot of gold, but we're rapidly losing that pot of gold status. Soon we're not going to have anything. We're losing so much money. In addition, I think we should have about a 12 to a 15% tax on anybody that comes into the United States. This is a tariff. If they want to do business, if they want to take our wealth, if they want to steal our wealth from us, they should pay 15%. It's not that high a number. It's not going to stop them. We'll make a fortune, and we're going to become a profit-making machine.
That's really good. Easily. That's a good idea.
So because remember, we have $34 trillion in debt. We've got to pay it off. And we don't want to do anything stupid. But if we do the Reciprocal Trade Act, that's fantastic. And if we do we've had people, smart people, that said, if we are going to sell our wealth to other countries, we should charge them for it. Why should we allow other countries to come in and steal our jobs, to make our cars, to make our computers, to make everything, and then just sell them right back at us with no tax? No, I think if we do that, they should be charged 15%. The numbers that you're talking about are astronomical.
Keep cooking.
And we will become overnight a tremendously successful country. And many jobs, when you do that, will come back into the United States. So I want you to think about that. That'll be very controversial tomorrow in the fake news because it's such a good thing. They're going to hate it. We're going to fight the globalist vultures and the Washington swamp just as we did before. And we're going to win. We're going to have tremendous victories. I said we're going to beat Hillary. I was right. I said we're going to beat Biden. I was actually
Trump?
more right.
Trump.
But we're going to beat him this time, and we're going to watch those votes.
Trump.
You know, with COVID, you couldn't go there. People sent in the votes. They get all these ballots. They send in the votes. Tens of millions of votes coming out, going in.
I don't want to be the
Nobody knew what
CCP here,
hell.
but
They knew
sir,
what was happening.
please.
But we can never let that happen again. Remember this Jimmy Carter, and he's a nice man, and I know he's not well, so I'm not going to say anything. But Jimmy Carter,
Both can be true. What
had
happened in
commission,
2020
and
was a
he said you can't
disgrace.
do mail-in
But don't
ballots.
talk about
If you
it
have mail-in
24/7.
ballots, it's going to be rife with fraud.
Trump.
Of course
No.
it's going to be rife with fraud.
Trump.
People are getting
That's the part of the
7
policy I
ballots,
can't
8
talk about. I cannot talk. Let him talk about the. Yeah, he cannot say anything about mail-in voting. That's against YouTube terms of service. So yeah, can't allow
6
it.
million votes.
Trump.
They had a winner, they had a loser, and that was the end of it. Very simple. A lot of people, it sounds too simplistic.
I don't care if he's
Paper
right or not. I
ballots,
don't
they
care.
make
I don't want my
certain
terms of service
watermark
get like
that's phenomenal
whacked
stuff.
on me.
It's actually technologically advanced paper, if you can believe it. But we should do paper ballots. We should do voter ID. And we should go back to same-day voting. We should.
This is my issue. This is my issue with Trump. Like, okay, fine, talk about election integrity, but
I don't know if you.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't want to. I don't want my channel to get terminated tomorrow because Trump's talks about 2020. I'm just being honest with y'all. Like, I agree with some of the stuff he's saying, but at some point you can't just. It just gets irritating.
They had places where there were more ballots than there were.
Oh my gosh. Honest rap, I love you, but my God, you should have a cringe count. Oh, whatever. It's like, okay. Just think for 5 seconds. It's the YouTube's terms of service is still, I can't talk about certain things. I thought they repealed the 2020 thing to your terms of service. You read it, and some of the stuff Trump was talking about, you can't say anything. So, YouTube changed it, but, oh, whatever.
Pence is at 7. Oh, look at this one. This one just came out in the Clarity campaign poll, very respected. We're leading by 56 points. That doesn't mean we have 56. That means we're leading Ron DeSanctimonious by 56. 69% for Trump, 13% for DeSantis, and Pence has 6. You know, once you get used to saying DeSantis, it's hard to say DeSantis. I was actually being interviewed, and I was trying to be serious, and I called him DeSantis. I said, that's not good. But he's changing his name. You know, now it's DeSantis. And I put a little message out, never change your name in the middle of a campaign. You don't change your name in the middle of a campaign. In the Emerson poll of Iowa, we're leading by 42 points. See, I told you. I got him $28 billion. How are we going to lose? That's a big lead in Iowa. We're going to do great in Iowa. We've always done great in Iowa. And we're leading Biden by a lot in the recent Fabrizio swing state poll of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. We're at almost 50% of the vote already. And we're leading Biden by 5, which is a shocking, you would think you'd be leading him by 40. You would think we'd be leading him by more than we're leading DeSantis. In the ABC Washington Post poll, just came out. I'm up by 7 points over Biden. And the new poll from Democracy Institute, very respected, shows that I'm the only candidate that beats crooked Joe Biden. And DeSantis is losing to him by a lot. With each passing day, more Americans are joining our patriotic movement. We are having unbelievable
Look, just focus on the
success.
policies and that's it.
Only garnered
That's all he has to worry
even
about.
further by what's happening, because what they're doing is so bad for our country. People are saying you can't weaponize, you can't do this. Together we've achieved more than anyone thought even possible. We delivered the largest tax cuts in history. We delivered the largest regulatory cuts. That's why we had the greatest employment numbers ever in history. We achieved energy independence. We were soon going for energy dominance, where, as I told you before, we were going to be paying off massive amounts of debt and lowering your taxes still further, because that's the kind of numbers you're talking about when you get the oil.
I don't know who the Democracy Institute is.
In 60
I've never
years,
heard
think of it, we had the worst problems and the worst costs in energy in 60 years. We had it down to $1.87 3.5 years ago a gallon. And we actually had it lower than that, but we won't even talk about that because I had to save the oil companies. They were all going to go bust. I said, this is the first time I've ever said we got to get it up a little bit. I actually called Russia and the King of Saudi Arabia. We had a three-way call, and we cut back on the oil because it was so incredible. Helped fill up the strategic national reserves, and he's now taken all of that to reduce gasoline prices for cars just prior to the election, very artificially. And he's reduced it down to the lowest level that it's been in, I think, 60 years. We created the most secure border in U.S. history.
Yeah,
built hundreds and hundreds of miles of border wall.
Talk about gas
was
prices.
Going to build another 200 miles to fill up some
prices,
gaps that we saw. And then they came in after a very strange election, to put it. I'm trying to be nice. A very strange
This is
election,
fine when he
really
talks about
bad
this, but when he goes into
election.
details.
But they came in and they didn't want to fill up those walls. And that's the first time I said, these guys actually want to have open borders. We got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. That's how we succeeded.
Democracy.
You know, we had the most secure border in the history of our country.
Democracy.
Part of it was I got Mexico. We built the wall, large sections of the wall. But we got Mexico free of charge. And I like the president of Mexico a lot. He's a socialist, but as the expression goes, you can't have everything. But I liked him a lot. But I said to the people over in the State Department, I said, give me a list of the 10 top things you would like. And one was to have their soldiers helping us with the people coming in. You know, they're coming in through Mexico. And they gave me a list of 10, and the woman who was really
Trump's
a pro,
a bit tired,
but she
I
was
think. I
just a
agree.
little bit naive. She said, sir, you're never going to get this. We've been trying to get this. I've been here for 25 years. We've been trying to get this for 25 years. You're never going to get it. I said, you want to make a little bet? And we had a representative, the top representative, come in to see me, and the State Department people. And I said, here's the story. You have to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge to stop people from pouring into the United States. He said, he laughed. He thought, like, what a stupid guy this is. This guy has to be, well, sir, we wouldn't even think of doing that. Why would we do a thing? Because they're coming through your country and you're not stopping them. In the South, they're pouring through in caravans. No, you're going to give it to us? No, sir, we're not. I said, how much do you want to make a bet? He said, we're not going to do it. I said, here what I have in front of me, and I'm going to sign it right in front of you, a paper. This was on a Thursday or a Friday. And I said, on Monday morning,
I've heard this like
we're putting
50
a tariff
times.
on all automobiles coming into the United States and all other Mexican products coming into the United States. We're putting a tariff of 25% on everyone. We're going to make so much money over and above the cost of that. And he said, you wouldn't do that. I said, I'm going to sign it right before your very eyes. Watch me sign it. And this goes into effect on Monday morning. And he said to me, sir, do you mind if I take 5 minutes to make a phone call? He was going to call, obviously, the president, because he was the second president.
Yeah, focusing on like this
And he
trade
came back
stuff,
in
that's
3
where
minutes,
it's like,
sir, we've
that's his
decided
best.
to give you 28,000 soldiers free of charge. I said, but that's not the end. We also want Remain in Mexico, so that rather than having people come in and remain in our country, they remain in Mexico until we approve them, until we check them out, find out who they are. We don't want murderers in our country. We don't want killers. We don't want people that are bad in our country. We don't want gang members. And he said, we'll give you that too, sir. Remain in. That's how, you think there was a Remain in Mexico? You've all heard. You think that happened just by accident? That happened because of me. And then when Biden came in, he wanted to end it. And even the judge said, why are you doing this? The judge. He said, you can't end it. Why are you doing this? But it expired at a certain point. As an example, Title 42, that's to keep sick people out of the United States, people that are sick. And it was an incredibly successful thing. And they wanted to terminate it 2 years ago. And the judge said, do you know how many people are going to be flooding our nation if you terminate? This is the judge. He's supposed to be making a ruling. He's telling them that they shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, he's not going to focus on social issues. He's going to focus on economics and stuff like trade
and whatever. They did nothing to do anything about it. And we have a lot of people that have diseases that
he's not going to, when he's not asked about it, he's not going to talk about abortion that much.
I'm not just talking about COVID. I'm talking about some big things. It's so sad. And then we terminated catch and release. Remember the famous, you catch them in our country, and then you release them in our country. And we say, come back in 4.5 years. We're going to have a trial. Only the stupid ones come back.
It's sad that that we laugh at this, but it's like true.
4.5 years later, they're gone.
This is even real.
Nobody ever sees
That's just
them down,
sad.
right? That's it. I mean, how crazy is it? It's so crazy. But we ended all of that stuff. We had the greatest border, most secure border we've ever had, and the people of this country want that back. You know, it's very interesting. When I ran in 2016, the border was a big deal. I would talk about the border all the time. The border, the border, the border. People couldn't get enough of it because we had a really bad, unsafe border, people pouring through. I did such a good job that in 2020, nobody wanted to talk about the border. And when I talk about it, people would start falling asleep. I said, I did too good a job. But now it's worse than ever. It's never been like this. Now it's worse than, I say it's worse than any third world country.
This is a big thing Trump has over Biden. Focus on 4 years ago. I told you so. That's all he has to say.
They'd fight him out with sticks and stones. So we had the best border in the history of our country, and now we have, in my opinion, the worst border in the history of the world. Think of it. What third world country would let millions of people just walk across the border, take our education, take our hospitals, take our food? Our veterans aren't treated nearly as well as illegal aliens. Our veterans aren't treated nearly as well.
That's sad.
So sad to see it. And we had the highest approval rating, Dan knows this, of any VA in the country. You know, we passed 2 things. Number one, we were able to fire people, which you couldn't do for 58 years. It was in the hopper because we had a lot of sadists. We had thieves and we had a lot of bad people that worked in the VA. Bad people, but the worst were the sadists. They would beat up old, wonderful soldiers, beat the hell out of them. They got their jollies out of it. They're sick. And we weren't allowed to fire them. No matter what they did, we couldn't fire them. I got it. So we fired, I think, about 8,000 people, all sadists and sick people. And
that's good. This is another thing that
there was one group
focus on this more because
just before me. They caught him stealing $400,000.
How bad the VA
Stone
was.
Cold caught him, and they couldn't get rid of him. They had to keep him. The whole thing is crazy, but we got that done. But of equal importance, maybe more importance, if you had to wait more than a day to get yourself taken care of, and we had all this passed through Congress, if you had to wait more than one day, and you were so helpful, if you had to wait more than one day, by the way, Richard has been a fantastic congressman, Richard Hudson. You really helped us a lot. He was a fighter for this. But if you had to wait more than one day, because people were waiting months, they were becoming terminally ill, waiting. Something they could clean up with a prescription or with a small operation, they'd end up dying, they'd become terminally ill. Because it would take 4, 5, 6 months to see a doctor. I said, if you had to wait more than one day,
the fact that this happens in our country is sickening.
And we pay the bill. We made deals with doctors all over the place so they can't, you know, they tend to be a little bit high. This is like a golden pot. But we actually saved a lot of money because we were making people better. They were able to live with their families. They weren't dying. It was an incredible thing. We had a 92% approval rating.
No
And
Trump
now it's
AOC.
down
That sounds
the
like an
drain
awful
because
ticket.
they ended all that stuff.
Trump's base,
and
but
it's
it's
worse
like,
than it ever
ugh.
was before. And then some people will still foolishly vote for the Democrats. I don't understand it. It's like with religion. We fight for religion. They fight against religion. How can a religious person vote for the Democrats? What they've done
Because
to Christianity,
Republicans suck at campaigning.
all religions.
Will Trump cut military spending? I doubt it.
I mean, how
Wish
can
you
they
would,
do
but-
it? We appointed nearly 300 federal judges and 3 great Supreme Court justices. I fully rebuilt the U.S. military. We had more ammunition than at any time. And now we have no ammunition. We have a military missing a thing called ammunition. We had so much it was stopped.
Yeah, we
to
probably
the
need
gills,
some
and
ammunition,
now we have
not
very
gonna
little
lie.
left because we're giving it to Ukraine. And I would end that war within 24 hours, I will tell you. And end it fairly. And I imposed a powerful travel ban to keep radical Islamic terrorists and radical jihadists the hell out of our country. People said, oh, that's a terrible thing. But how good did we do in 4 years? Look at our record in 4 years. You didn't hear about all that stuff. I don't even like talking about it, give people ideas. But we had a tremendous record.
Yeah, Trump should
because of
say
what
that
we
he should
passed.
cut
And
unnecessary government.
We passed things that nobody
unnecessary
thought were possible. But
military
look at our
spending.
record on that. We accomplished
Should.
all of this and more in just 4 short years, and just imagine what we can accomplish in the next 4 years. And the advantage is that I've been through it. I know the good people. I know the bad people. I know weak people and strong people. I know the people that are losers that you don't want, and I know the people that are winners that a lot of people don't know or understand. But they're the winners, the people that can bring us back. I know them all. When I first went there, I didn't. I had to rely on people. What do you think of this guy? What do you think of that guy? And people were giving me advice. We had great people too. You know, again, we rebuilt the military. We got all those tax cuts and regulation cuts. We had great people, but we had some people that I wouldn't have put in the place. Guys like Bill Barr, because he didn't have courage, and I wouldn't have put them. I wouldn't have put them in place. They missed a great opportunity, but we have all these people cold. We've caught all of
His
these
tax cuts would have increased
lies
wealth
and all of this
resulting
corruption.
taxes, which would have paid
And
itself
something
off.
has to be
Yeah, I mean
done
the Trump
about
tax
it.
cuts were good.
But I know the strong ones
overall.
and the weak ones.
It didn't go
I know
far
the
enough in
great
some
ones and
areas,
the ones
but-
that will never be great. And again, you know, it's funny. I was in Washington, D.C. 17 times in my entire life. And most of it was building a hotel down the road from the White House. A beautiful hotel. Now, I sold it to Waldorf Astoria, but a beautiful hotel. And but I was only there 17 times, and I never slept over. So I wasn't into that whole world of Washington establishment. But I learned quickly. I learned very
It's pretty
quickly,
good to
and
say
now
that, you know,
think
he
I'm
was
into it
never
probably
part of the
more than
establishment,
anybody else,
even
and I
before he
know
was
the
president,
people.
or it's really
Here's
after.
just some of the bold agenda
He
I'll put
doesn't
into
really
effect
like
when we
Washington. I
become
like
the
that talking
47th
point,
president
that
of the United
He's always
States.
been the outsider.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, if it's not already settled, and they should
Yeah.
get it done quickly.
That's good.
Can't let those people die. They asked me, did you see the town hall with CNN? They got one of the highest ratings they've had in like 11 years, and they end up firing the guy because it was Trump. Instead, they should celebrate. We had our highest ratings. You're supposed to get paid for high ratings, Richard.
They get fired for
They had
doing
one of
their
the
job.
highest ratings they've
CNN
had
in a
in many,
nutshell.
many years. I was on with a young woman who was, I said, nasty. She was a very nasty woman. But it worked out very well, and they were all going, he owns you, get him off the air. They're screaming, AOC is screaming, he owns you, get him off the air, stop it. But you'd think if they had high
The
ratings,
base
that
counter
would be
is
a big,
essentially
he should ask for an
the fringe
increase.
counter.
Instead, they
Fringe
fired
counter
him
that's a negative,
because I
that's
was allowed
base.
to put across our point of view. It's our point of view. You know, we went into the womb of the enemy. And I thought, actually, the reason I did, I thought they'd probably be solid. I tell them, because there they are right there. But I tell them that They're doing so
Be a
poorly
base
in the
counter.
ratings.
This is essentially a
If
base
they
counter.
went to the center or even went a little bit right of center. And I thought they might be planning that. I think that's a good business strategy because right now they're known as fake news. Can you imagine if this is on CNN right now? The one thing you know is they're going to turn it off. Oh, the light just went off the television. That just went off, the red light. I can see all those red lights. That light. Oh, well, sorry about that. I'll be finished about this in 20 seconds, and then you can turn the light back on. But I thought they were going to
Trump
be maybe a little bit
entertaining
more
is
moderate
perfect.
and get their viewership up and really have a big evening and great. But as I was being introduced, they were saying things that were so bad. I said, this is going to be a war. But it wasn't. Look, it worked out well, but it didn't work out well for him. It should have, because he actually did a good job in the sense it was very professionally done, very professional. Everything, the set, everything was beautiful, and they got tremendous numbers, and they fired him. He's gone now.
Gone forever.
Mr. Licht, sorry about that. I'd like to apologize to Mr. Licht. But I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent World War III. I will prevent it. Not going to happen.
Anti-war. Always focus on the anti-war stuff. Whoops.
And we're much closer than you think right now to having it. And at some point it will happen. It will happen. I will prevent it. I'm the only one that can say it. I know them all. I know how to deal with them. I deal with them. And I'm not saying I know how, but I will get it done. I will get it done.
Cringe is going down a
The
lot.
other day, Putin said they're delivering nuclear missiles to Belarus. Here we go. And we have a man that has no clue. He has no clue. We have a guy that walks around, he has no clue. He's like a walking zombie. You know, I meet these other leaders. President Xi, Kim Jong-un of North Korea did a great job with that. Kim Jong-un, we had the meetings and, you know, historic. We got along great. They hate saying that when I say they got along. How dare you get along great with a dictator? You know, the guy's got
It's called
hundreds
being
of
smart.
nuclear weapons. It's nice to get along. And I'm not saying that from weakness. I'm just saying from common sense. No, I got along with him great. How dare you say that President Xi of China is a brilliant man? No, he's brilliant. He leads 1.4 billion people, and he leads them very powerfully, and he's doing things and ripping off our country for years. But they get upset when I say somebody's brilliant.
Cringe.
But here's what I will say.
I don't know how much more we can reduce
They're
the
all
cringe.
at the top of their game.
We're at
I know
negative
everyone. All these
750.
leaders. They're smart as hell. They're tough. They're cunning. Some are vicious. Most of them are vicious, actually. They think the United States is run by fools. They all take advantage of the United States. I had a thing with France. I like Macron, but he's a wise guy. I like, you know, sort of young. And my people were negotiating with him. He's putting a tax on all American companies that do business in France. I said, who the hell wants to go to France? But he's putting a very big tax on. So Steve Mnuchin and my people were negotiating with him and came back, no, they can't make a deal. I said, why can't you make a deal? We can't. They want to put the tax on. All these companies tax. If you're an American company, they
Who the hell
tax
wants to
you.
go to do business in France?
I said, give it another shot. They came back a week
I'll
later.
increase
They
cringe
can't
a
make
little
deal.
bit
I
for
said,
the
I'll
Macron
make a
thing.
deal. What do you mean you'll make a deal? Same thing. Same old story all the time. It's always the same story. They don't write about it. They know about it, but they don't write about it. I wish all these things were taped. I really do. I wish these conversations, because these were classic conversations. So I got Macron, Emmanuel on the phone, and I said, Emmanuel, why are you putting a tax on all of our companies? Oh, but Donald, we have to. As you know, it's been approved by everybody. I said, I don't care if it's approved. Take it off. Oh, no, we can't do that. It's been fully approved. And I said, now, here's the story. If you don't take it off, again, tomorrow morning, at 7 o'clock in the morning, we're taxing all of your wine and champagne that's coming into the United States at 100%.
That's good. I think we're going to reach
They'll tell you that's true. No, you cannot do that, Donald. Donald, you cannot do that. That
I
is
love
not
this
fair.
French accent.
It's not fair that you're putting this massive tax on American companies, but not others. And that's only because you think we're a stupid country. I said, you're not going to do that, Emmanuel. Tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, 100% on every frickin' bottle of your wine and champagne. I don't even like it. I like the stuff made in our country better, even though I don't drink too much wine. One of my good things. Not a big drinker.
I thought you never drove.
But no, we don't want that, Emmanuel. No. I said, yes. You have 10 minutes to call me back. He called me back in 3 minutes. You have a deal. That was the end. That was the end. But you know what? Now he's going to put it back on. Nobody's going to. You think Biden's going to call him back and talk that way? No, they don't talk that way. And yet they're vicious. I don't even think it's Biden that's vicious. I think it's a circle of maniacs around him. You know, you have a woman in the Justice Department, Lisa Monaco. She's a Trump hater like nobody you've ever seen. I think she's second in the Justice Department. Lisa Monaco, very unfair. You have this maniac.
I could have sworn that Trump never drank before,
Jack
but that's
Smith. He's deranged.
Right, that's what I thought.
His wife hates Trump even more than he does. And these are the people. We get treated very unfairly. But I will also, so importantly, immediately cancel every open borders policy of the Biden administration. The borders will be closed unless you come in legally.
Yeah, I thought his brother died.
Under Biden, other countries are emptying out their prisons, insane asylums, and mental institutions and dumping everyone into the United States. Did you know that? Wonderful. Their prisons are being emptied out all over the world, not just in Guatemala, not just Mexico, not just El Salvador. No, all over the world they're coming. Last week we had 129
Canadian
people
Trump.
coming from 129 countries were represented by people pouring into our country illegally. 129 countries. Most people didn't even know there were that many. There are actually more than that, and sometimes we have a lot more than that. But their prisons are being emptied into the United States. You go into their prisons, they used to have.
Can you imagine a Canadian
so
Trump?
horrible,
Whoa, what
people
the heck?
couldn't lie on the floor. They would stand
What
up
the
and lean
heck?
against each other. Now they have nobody in those
Sorry about that.
prisons.
I don't know what
All
that
over the
was.
United States of America. Thank you very much. We're like a dumping ground. The same thing with
Don't know what that
people that are
was, but
mentally
okay.
ill.
900,
They said, please don't use the word
875.
insane asylum, but no, there are.
No, I typed in
some
I was
very
typing
serious
something and I
places,
accidentally typed
insane
into that.
asylums and mental institutions.
I don't think I was. What?
And,
Why did it
those
do that?
people are all being
That was
dumped
weird.
into the
Okay.
United States.
I think I bumped it
Why
on
should
accident.
they take care of them if a country is foolish
Sorry about
enough
that.
to take the tremendous risk and cost? The risk being even bigger than the cost, but the cost is not even, it's not imaginable how big it is. So we have all these people that are vicious prisoners. You think our prisoners are bad? These people make them look like Boy Scouts. And they're being dumped into our country. And all of the people who are mentally ill. I read an article recently, fairly recently, about a psychiatrist who was working at a hospital for 20, 25 years in South America. And he was sitting reading the newspaper, being interviewed for this article. And he said, you know, I used to work 24 hours a day working with patients, but I don't have patients anymore. They've all been delivered to the United States. He wasn't like complaining. He was just saying the facts. He said, I used to work so hard. Now, you know, I want to help people, but we really don't have. The people are being let into the United States. And he said, some of these people are very sick. And this is what we're doing. Because we have a president that doesn't have a clue, and we have radical, leftist, Marxist, crazy people that are actually running our country. Following the Eisenhower model, people don't realize Eisenhower was very tough on
Yes, he was one of our best presidents
you know
because
that,
of
Richard?
it.
Like very, very tough. He had them taken away, and he used to have them brought a little bit over the border, and they'd come back again a little bit. Then he had them brought 2,000 miles away, and they didn't come back so quick. But they used to put them on the other side of the border. They'd come right back. But he was very tough. But we'll use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. We have no choice. We have no choice. And I'll probably lose votes because of that. They'll say, oh, he's so mean. We're not mean. They're killing people. They're destroying our country. And if I lose votes,
We
that's
do
okay.
need somebody to go in there actually
Okay.
like
We have to do what's
do
right. We
mass
have to straighten out our
deportations. It's
country.
getting ridiculous.
I will ask
It's time
every
for somebody
state
to
and
do it.
federal agency to identify every single known or suspected gang member in America And every one of them that is here illegally, we will pick them up and we will send them back to the country from which they came. We'll bring them back very quickly. Because we don't want you or your family killed by some deranged person or some person that's in prison for having killed 9 people and that happens to be living happily in the United States of America. And this is very unsuspecting. When they hit you, you wouldn't even expect it. These are hardened criminals. And to further deter illegal immigration, I will sign a day one executive order ending automatic citizenship for the children of illegal aliens. You get automatic citizenship. Automatic citizenship. And unlike Ron DeSanctimonious, who voted to gut Medicare, remember that he voted to gut it. And Social Security.
Yeah, this is going to be a bad point for him.
And he voted 3 times to raise the
DeSantis,
retirement
Social
age
Security
to
stuff.
70. You know, Ron DeSanctimonious is a disciple of Paul Ryan.
Yes, I understand that's like been a couple of years,
disciple
but
of Paul Ryan.
not
You don't
good.
want him. But I will always protect Medicare and Social Security for our great seniors. And one thing I've learned in politics, when a guy is against like Medicare or wants to decapitate it, or a guy's against anything Social Security, and then they have an election and all of a sudden they love it, although he hasn't even said that yet. But when they have, and you earned it. You know, people have been working very hard for long periods of time. There are many things we can cut. You don't have to cut Social Security. You don't have to cut Medicare. If we did the oil thing, you wouldn't have to even think about these things. But they don't want to do the oil thing because they don't know what they're doing. But one thing I learned is that when they want to do it, then they go a little bit because they want to try and get elected. They always go back to it. So when somebody wants to cut Social Security or Medicare, and then they go back to saying, oh, I love them very much, within a fairly short period of time, they'll be cutting it. Just remember what I say. And I will not put a national sales tax of 23% on our citizens. Which
okay, I'm starting to lose it. It's you can definitely tell the energy is really. It was the best before, but it's really starting to.
Rich people, I sort of like the idea for myself. Can you imagine somebody now is going to pay every time they buy something 23%? This will not be happy, but more importantly, it's not fair. On day one, I will immediately sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school
I don't know, it just
pushing
seems like
critical
that
race theory,
the energy's
transgender
still,
insanity,
like he's
and
starting to
other
run out of gas.
inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. It's amazing how strongly people feel about that. You see, I'm talking about cutting taxes. People go like that. Talk about transgender. Everyone goes crazy. Who would have thought 5 years ago you didn't know what the hell it was? But one that I think is incredible that we would be saying that I can't even believe you have to say.
Yeah, he's at 1,000.
I guess I have to say I'm a politician, right? I don't want to say that, but I have to. I became president. I guess I'm a politician. But I can't believe I say this. I will always support parents' rights. Can you imagine saying that 10 or 15 years ago? Parents' rights. Who wouldn't? Think of it. Who wouldn't support parents' rights?
Nobody.
Because you have to get up and say, I will always support parents' rights with their children. I mean, what's going on with their children? They can take the children and do whatever they want without the parent even knowing. I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate.
That's good.
And one of the easiest to me is I will keep men out of women's sports, okay?
The cane is back, bro.
You see the records that are being broken now? Records that have held up for 18, 19 years, they're being obliterated. Check out the weightlifting records. Guy comes up. A woman is fantastic. She's a great champion. She's lifting weights. something like 218 pounds. That's a lot of weight for a woman to go boom. And they'll put like a 1/16 of an ounce on one side, a 1/16 of an ounce on the other side. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. Doesn't quite get there. Great champion. Then the guy comes along, bingo. I mean, they're breaking records by numbers. But you know what? It's really demeaning to women. Very demeaning to women. So unfair.
This entire segment's pretty good by Trump.
The swimmers, the women, female swimmers, they're great, incredible people, incredible athletes, but they're getting obliterated. These records are just getting obliterated. Some women are being badly injured by the wind burn that's caused by the man going so much faster. The wind is blowing. It's just terrible. No, these records are being obliterated. It's so unfair. But who would even think that you could allow this? Who would say that
he
this
is the
okay?
definition of a cook right now.
These
he is
people are
cooking
sick.
up some
They're
good takes
deranged.
right now.
I'll sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. Child sexual mutilation.
Pretty good.
There's another one, though.
Awesome.
Think of it.
Yeah,
Think
it
of
would
it.
matter who's better.
I'm going to sign a bill prohibiting the mutilation of your child. Do you think you're supposed to say this? I mean, who would have to say this? Who would have something where they can actually do that? But they can. Because our country has gone cuckoo. 10 years ago, if you ever said that, they'd carry you out of the room. They'd say, what the hell is this guy talking about? Today, you have to say it because they mutilate children.
It's awful.
As I announced this week, to continue my long record of standing up to Big Pharma, I will establish a special presidential commission to investigate what
Trump,
is causing
I don't think YouTube's
decades-long
going to allow this part
increase
there,
in
guy.
childhood diseases,
YouTube, this is not me.
autoimmune disorders,
YouTube.
autism, obesity, infertility, and other chronic health problems that people are seeing over the last 9 or 10 years that they weren't seeing before. To uphold our Second Amendment, I will ask Congress to pass the National Concealed Carry Reciprocity.
Based. That's awesome.
And I've always had the endorsement of the NRA, and I should, because I've kept it going. I've kept our Second Amendment totally alive. We haven't done anything to injure it or hurt it, and it's been very hard. It's been a very hard battle, but the NRA's always endorsed me, and I appreciate it. But I've done a job that for years I've kept it alive under the most trying circumstances. We need it for protection. We need it for our safety. We need it for other things too, including sporting, including living, but we need it for our protection. And
he definitely needs some coffee.
In the Second Amendment,
He's concluding the speech. Yeah,
a man was elected, and they're
we're
having
at the end of the speech
tremendous
now.
crime
We got like
out
2
in the
minutes left.
countryside all over this country, where people were going and attacking households and killing and raping and doing things that were just absolutely horrible. And he got elected, and he said, "Everybody go out and buy a gun." And they did, and now your crime is down like 40%. Go out and buy a gun to protect yourself. It's down 40%. Before then, you couldn't have any protection. And the one thing you know, the bad guys are going to have the gun. They're not going to be following the rules. I will protect innocent life just as I did for 4 strong years. Nobody did a job like I did, including Roe v. Wade, bringing it back to the states. Did a great thing. And remember that this is a very complex issue. What we've done is we've shown that they are the radicals, not the pro-lifers. They are the radicals because they're willing to kill a child 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, and even
hammer
after
this.
The child
Hammer it. Come on. Perfect.
And what I did by killing Roe v. Wade, which everyone said was impossible. Number one, we got it sent back to the states.
There it is,
Number
cooking
two,
now.
and very importantly, I gave you now the power to negotiate. You had no power before because they were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do. They could kill the child at any point, including after birth. You look at the governor of Virginia, the ex-governor of Virginia, I call him Michael Jackson. You remember that catastrophe? He said he's a big Michael Jackson fan. That's why he did certain stupid things. But he was willing, and he said it, you know, put the baby down and we'll decide with the mother what you want to do after the baby is born. They are the radicals, not us. And nobody wants to see mutilation or death of a baby after a certain period of time. But I gave you, by getting that, by winning that, everybody said it was impossible to win.
This is the definition of cooking.
We put 3 great justices on the Supreme Court justices.
2.5. Kavanaugh is
you now have the right to a superpower to negotiate something that's going to
Kavanaugh
be
is
acceptable.
like half the
Before
time
you
really
didn't
good,
have
the other
any
half's
rights
crap.
whatsoever. They could do whatever they
Comey
wanted.
Barrett's been
So
solid.
it's a very powerful thing that
Gorsuch is really
I was
good,
able to
but
get.
he's
I'm very
too
proud of
consistent
But
at
it goes
times.
back to the states, and you're in a very strong negotiating position. Actually, right now, you're in a much stronger position than the other side. So it's going to be interesting over a period of time, but it could go fairly quickly, perhaps. But there are many negotiations going on right now that wouldn't be going. I gave you the power to negotiate at
Yeah,
a
and
very
remember,
high
he was
level.
seen as the socially
And I
liberal
also have,
Republican.
I think, shown very conclusively that they're the radicals. We're not the radicals. They are the radicals. So it's very important, and it's very important that it be handled properly. I will restore free speech in America, and I will require every federal employee to pass a new civil service test demonstrating an understanding of our Constitution. And finally, oh, look at that. Wow. Wow.
He's socially modest.
That's nice.
I know, but remember the 2016?
Nice that you believe in the Constitution. That is really something. That's great. Finally, to restore pride in our history and confidence in our future, I will lead a massive year-long salute to America to celebrate the 250th anniversary of July 4th, 1776. That's the date. We're not changing the date. We have a massive anniversary. And our country deserves it, especially what it's going through now. This is what we must do to restore our country to greatness. The USA is a total mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Nobody thought that would be possible. It's all taken place over the last 2.5, 3 years. Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat in 200 years. This will be, in many ways, bigger than losing a war. It will take our power away from us. It will take everything away from us. And it's happening faster and faster. And it will happen if we're not put there. We have to stop it. We have to have the currency of record. That would be a tremendous failure. That would lead to problems the likes of which you would never even be able to think of. But it won't happen with me, not even a chance, just like Russia would never have happened with Ukraine. China would not have even thought about raiding Taiwan. They're flying bombers over there every day. They have ships circling it. They're getting ready for something. They were never doing that in 4 years. One of these gentlemen standing right there.
Because this is the thing about Trump. He's smart with foreign policy. He's not necessarily an isolationist. He's just smart.
If you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. We are a failing nation. We are a nation in decline. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement.
Okay. I thought it was
totally
something else.
corrupt, and we can't let it happen. This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government.
He's
we
done
will
it.
drive out
3,000.
the globalists. We will cast out the communists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will roll out the fake news media. We will expose the rhinos for what they are. We will defeat Joe Biden, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all. We will liberate. We're going to liberate our country. The silent majority is rising, and under our leadership, the forgotten man and woman will never be forgotten again, never be forgotten again. With your help, with your love, your prayers, you have to remember this will happen. This will be a certainty. We will put America first always, and that will lead to the fact that we will make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much, North Carolina. Congratulations to Mike. But thank you very much. Great to be with you. Thank you.
That was excellent. That was really good. That was a really good speech. All right, we're going to turn this off before I get sued. Wow. Best speech we've listened to so far. All right. I'm going to probably head off. If anybody got any more super chats, send them now or forever go in peace. Any last questions? That was definitely a really good, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 speech. Some problems here and there, but they can be fixed. Rate Trump's speech. A, B, C, D. So, that was really good. That was a really good speech overall. Again, some problems here and there, but they can be solved easily. Yeah, everybody's saying A. Somebody voted, yeah. 88% A. Wow. I don't think we've ever been that high before. Pence was the highest, I think. I think it was like 10% A. So, yeah, if anybody got any super chats, send them now. Because we're going to probably head off. Definitely a fun stream. Yeah, he definitely need a bit more energy. And if he, maybe a tad bit more on the policy side. But outside of that, that was really good. Still was on message. So I want some other unique policy proposals. He's brought something. And yeah. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching this long live stream, 3 hours. If you did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, I hope everybody enjoyed. We're going to do more of these. I think we're going to do a lot more of these reactions. But yeah, he did give a lot of policies. No, I'm talking about, like, you know, some parts I'm talking about unique policies. Like, okay, how? How are you going to solve this? You know, for most of it he did. There was some here and there. Like the immigration stuff. Not immigration, I should say. Probably the crime stuff. There's definitely some stuff like crime he should have given a bit more on, but yeah. But it was really good. DeSantis, he may be in trouble if this is the Trump, but we gotta see what the indictment stuff what brings. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next live stream or video.